Greetings, all. Welcome to the final Monster Cast for before our little break that we're going to have here after this. So I'm flying solo right now. We'll see when Chris shows up, but welcome everybody. Good to see you. We got a great show planned. As far as the hiatus goes, this will be, let's see, today is the Saturday. We do these every second Saturday. So we won't do it next Saturday, but The one after that, probably still not, probably about a month. Um, let me see here. I'm getting some news from Chris. He's been battling some. He's been battling some raptors. So there you have it. That's Chris for you. But he will be showing up here fairly soon. So that's great news. But so we'll probably be back maybe in about a month or so. But that's not official. So until further notice on that. Let's see. We may get back on that. More news on that in a little bit here. But here's the glossary for what is in the show today, what's in store. So the show is called Monsters That Got Ruined for You. That's our main topic. But prior to that, we're going to be, I want to do a little segment talking about, and let me know if you guys can hear me okay, and or if not, if there's any issues. But yes, so I want to do a little segment about collecting monstrous things, and I want to see what kind of things you guys collect out there, and things like that. I'm curious about that and share my own touch in that hobby. And then after that, we're gonna do this little segment here. Hold on. Okay, just make sure things look all right. Let me hear something from you guys. Let me know this is the audio's all right. So the other thing that's planned today is me eating bugs after we talk monster collecting. So I've had this little thing as a celebratory event planned for some time. So we'll do it today as a little celebration before a little hiatus. So these are dried, dehydrated bugs. Yes, they lack water, but they're dead, dehydrated bugs that are salted. So with that, I'm going to try these out. I do believe this is the future too, eating bugs. I'm going to see how they taste. It won't be my first time eating a bug, but it will be my first time eating certain ones in here. We'll have some coffee with that out of all the beverages that are out there. I'm going to have coffee with the dried bugs. So after that, we're going to talk about the ruined monsters, monsters that got ruined for you, whether it's due to a movie screwing it up or a game or whatever reasons why a particular monstrous love that you have got ruined for you. So I'm going to share my shares and we'll hear from you guys as well. Once Chris shows up, we'll hear that as well from him. You guys can always join these live through our Discord. You can always join in voice chat here or just in text chat over at our Discord, so you can show images too, which you can't do when you're in YouTube chat. To do that, there's a link right below this video. If you don't see it, then any other video on the channel should have links to our Discord. Just join on there. It's always free. And then make a request. Make sure you go to an area there to introduce yourself, so then you get to access to the full Discord and see everything. That's like a security measure we do after running this Discord for a while. That's how we've organized it. Once you do that, just let us know that you would like to attend these live shows, and we'll get you in live. It's pretty fun, and that's how I want to keep these up. That's what makes these different as well. Real quick shout out to our sponsors as we warm up. No sponsors as of yet. I'm not really looking for sponsors. If somebody, I'm kind of waiting on that too, to be honest. But our top sponsors, as always, are our beloved patrons, and that's Monsterites like you that just chip in extra and want some extra perks, as well as just help out the channel and to also be a bit more in tune and connected and involved with the channel. That's the word I was looking for, involved. So that's that. That's our intro for today. So first we'll be talking monster collecting, then eat some bugs, then monsters that got ruined for you. So first things first, let's jump into real quick here. Monsters, things that you collect. Hey there, Brant. Good to see you. Thanks for the comment. Letting me know that we're alive and live and well. And if you guys are over on Discord, head over to the MonsterCast chat and we'll read your chat from there. So As far as collecting, what do you like to collect? What kind of monstrous things do you collect? This can range from movies to particular figures to particular characters and everything under the sun of that character. So, for instance, for me, it's I don't do a lot of monstrous collecting anymore of a particular thing. Miniatures, as you know, I'm a miniature lover, little scale monsters, but I don't in particularly have a full scale intent of collection in them. There's a small collection that I started, and I let you guys know when I paint those up. And then I also collect. I do enjoy the board games that have that, so I have that. But that's not major. A more kind of concrete collection that I do have, it's still rather small, is Venom. Before it was sort of maybe all things Venom, but now it's more just uh, Venom cards, Marvel cards. That's something I did since I was in middle school. So I do still plan to get more of them out there, and hopefully that'll raise the prices out there and make them more valuable as we grab more of them off the market. There's a couple in particular I would like to get more of. So the Venom cards, and that's something I do plan to showcase on the channel as I'm done with transitions here in real life and move over and get more in Venom Marvel cards and show you my collection, because that was a really cool hobby back in the day, and that's died down. I don't even know if I think they still produce Marvel cards, but I think it's a small niche thing. I don't know who buys them. Maybe they might have a game associated with them. That used to be a thing with some of the types of Marvel cards. So not sure if that's still a thing, but I do believe that they do still sell them and they will continue to. But again, I don't know the point. Okay. So that's as far as I go. And how about you guys? Let's see here. Oh, we got Lancer. Lancer's in. Good. We can all relax now. Now that Lancer's here. Awesome. And next, today I'll update to on that too. Xenomorphs easily. You collect xenomorphs. That's a cool thing. If I was at the age and money accessible enough to get xenomorphs, I think it'd be awesome to collect all the different xenomorph figures, especially the ones NECA later released and the old ones, just because when you're collecting, even if something old sucks, it's still, if you're a collector, you still want that original, that old thing, right? I think in America, collecting is a particularly bigger thing. It's to the border of hoarding. That's more of a common thing here. I think it's just the lifestyle and just the way things work in the U.S. and how accessible things are. I mean, collecting is it's prevalent worldwide for sure, but here it's very common to have just kids, anybody have a particular thing that they have more of. It's a very common thing, just that sort of collecting, because there's many sorts of collecting. As far as non-monstrous or a little bit monstrous, I grew up having a stamp collection. That's not something I did recently in years, but I still have it somewhere. And I want to check that out because that used to be a cool thing, because that's just eye candy when you're collecting something like Marvel cards or stamps. It's a bunch of eye candy and stuff you just visually look at, and it's just cool. There's nothing nerdy about it, not nerdier than anything else, right? Because stamps always sounds nerdy, but they're just little images, and there's some pretty cool stuff out there and valuable and stuff like that. So I don't know if I'll add to it. I think I just want to look at my albums and see the worthiness or the value in them and see how that's going. Now then, I hope I've been keeping you entertained as our fellow rat has decided to come out of the wall.
Low chat. Ah, thank you. Thank
Beautiful
you all so
intro.
much for your patience, and you too, Arthur. We had a bit of a situation. So for like the past probably 1 week, we've had this pair of swallows trapped inside of our apartment building because there was a hole in the roof that they keep getting in through. And so we kind of, at least me and my mom, kind of decided, you know what, enough is enough. So we plugged the hole up, and I had to help get these swallows out of the building. One flew out of a window normally, the other one couldn't find the window, so I had to catch it and manually release it.
Nice. Um, so the rats battling with the raptors. What a situation. Now, Chris, I was talking about collecting. By the way, how you doing? Are you all right? Are you winded? Are you good? Do you have blood on your hands?
Thankfully,
Paws?
no. See, I made sure to be very gentle and delicate. It was quite the experience. It's the first time I've held a swallow in my hands. The little thing's heart was pumping, and so I cupped my free hand and put it over its head without touching it. So you know how on Animal Planet and whatnot they put a bag over an animal's head to keep it calm. Immediately, I put the head imitating like the bag, so it's dark and confined, and suddenly its heartbeat slowed down, so it calmed down. Needed to lightly nudge it when releasing it because it was kind of how do you say, it fell numb in my hands for a moment, and if I had tossed it out the window it probably would have plummeted. So I lightly kind of shook my hand as I opened the palm and nudged it till it flew off on its own.
Beautiful. So okay, at least you didn't swallow the swallow. I don't think
No, no, no.
rats of your class would do such a thing. Not yet, at least. All right, Chris. So I was talking about monster collecting as a little segment first before we get deeper into things. So things that are monstrous that you collect, and I need to veer off for a moment and be back. So if you can entertain this concept, and I see we have something in the chat as well, and I'll be right
Certainly,
back.
certainly. Well, friends and family, as you can imagine, I myself have been getting into Warhammer recently, collecting miniatures, and technically, I'm gathering some Space Marines, which, by all technicality, are monsters, post-human, augmented, and just to the teeth. Now, there's a funny thing because I was recently made to own a few extra more miniatures than normal because I first started out with my like 15, the 15 Terminators that I've spoken about on previous live streams. And so here's a funny bit. So I am probably the biggest loyalist fan amongst my friend group, and I also hate the Primaris Marines with a passion. However, now I am an owner of about 52 Chaos Space Marine miniatures, about 10 of which are Primaris conversions into Night Lords, which is quite ironic, and it's a chucklesome event, you could say. As the thing is that they just look really cool, and I asked to have them, and now I have them. Problem was that when delivering the gentleman who sent them over to me, he packaged them really well. But as you can guess, shipping and postage do not work quite. Also, quite a few of them had bits broken. Had to spend an entire evening actually reassembling them, gluing them back together. On some of them, the glued bits, yeah, they are a bit more noticeable than normal, but it's I'm not going to use them exactly for display purposes. They're going to be a mix of display slash play. So it having a bit of glue show, it's not that much of a problem. At least so I've been told. The biggest benefit of which, however, I was informed is that some of them were Forge World miniatures, which are the more expensive and special type, adjacent to Games Workshop, and they are made of resin. Now, for all of you savvy miniature collectors, I present myself as a complete greenhorn in this matter, a green beard, if you will, where the resin first needs to be properly washed in hot soapy water. And hey, Lancer, that's in Night Lord is your favorite 40k faction. Third most favorite faction, but second most favorite Legion. You'd never guess which one's the first, unless you've been in the previous stream, so you know. And so with resin miniatures, you're supposed to wash them with soapy water first in order to get all of the oils and stuff that they put on to preserve the material off. And only then you can begin to assemble. But when you assemble, you have the hassle of being very careful not to inhale or in any other way get resin in you, as that can cause some debilitating situations. And only after you're done with that, you get to assemble, primer, and paint, whatnot. It's a lot of hassle. But all of the miniatures I got essentially are completely handled, so I don't have to deal with the dangerous resin bits. They already assembled, primed. Some even have custom bases made, and quite a few of them were also splendidly painted. And so now I have. Actually, let me see. Can I, in some fashion, get the images over here on the live stream to share with you all? Because yes, it's easy for me to just speak about it, but it's much better if I show. So, how's this the upload picture? And how has your guys' day been going? As I'm trying to upload stuff, how is your guys' day going? Let me know. I think I might have made a mistake here. Yep. Yeah, Rat made a mistake. JMPF, glad to see you will be back with us shortly. So yes, okay, this is the correct place where to add those things. I'm gonna be throwing in not too many, just a few. As in addition to the miniatures, there has been something else rather neat that I've been that I have to show alongside them. All right, and that's the. Just have one final image to tack on, and in the meantime, do please share how was your week? How has your 2 weeks been in chat? It's been quite a while since we've batched a catch like that, and Arthur is no longer here, so technically we can do what we want. I'm in no way baiting people to possibly do naughty stuff here on the live stream. No, no, no. All right, final image. We have some bits in the chat. Okay, Lancer says, "Yeah, I know the hassle. I got the first Shadow Sword Forge world ever produced, and then converted into a Night Lord Shadow Sword. I got lots of warnings to wear a respirator doing so. Yes, very much so, Lancer. When handling resin, you gotta be very careful because if you inhale some of the dust particles of resin, you catch lung cancer, apparently, along with a myriad of other stuff. And speaking of collecting miniatures, I don't know if Arthur highlighted, but we have Brand Verdon coming here. I collect Alien, Predator, and monster figures in some monster movies. Fabulous choice. Do you have them in miniature form, or is it more like action figure scale, so to say? If you mind, share in the chat. And JMPF says he is rather busy. Well, yeah, usually you don't expect people to see a Night Lord Shadow Sword because the Shadow Sword is kind of an Imperial thing, though I guess you have the option of them having captured one. So now I wonder how does the will the screen work all right? Yeah, so this year, pardon the piping, this whole display case that you're seeing here is something that I custom built myself. Essentially, I got the bookshelf, the wooden bit, assembled it, and then I had a custom glass pane made for it. With getting it on the hinges was an absolute hassle, I tell you. Because the first time I did, the glass came out a bit off and couldn't get on, so I had to order a second one. And over there, where you see the purity seal, that there was a hole inside of the case itself, so I had to plug it in with some stuff and use the pin of a purity seal to keep it in. But in regards to the miniatures, these are the majority of the bunch that I got. You can see proudly displayed alongside a dinosaur and a bottle of Bugman's Ale. I also did a conversion where one had a no weapon and was missing anything for that arm, so I custom kit bashed a chainsaw. It failed spectacularly because it's rather off. These are the cool painted ones. So these are some raptors, and I adore how the gentleman that sent them to me made them. And these are also some Night Lord raptors that are quite fancy, if I do say so. Yes, we're writing out for a smidgen. Oh, you were all about alien stuff and I collect in the Discord. I'll be happy to look at it. And I think the man of the hour is back with us.
Great job there, Chris. I saw you got to finally release all that GW out of yourself that you had contained the last few episodes.
Smidgen, you could say.
Cool. Let me see here. I guess I'll watch this back when I edit these. So I'm not.
Yeah, you can see in the graphics, particularly this one here is a. I don't know if you caught it. I built this display case myself.
Oh.
Well, in addition to first getting the frame, then had to order custom glass door and all the bits on it. I'm also personally happy with the selection of books here. But if it comes up as a question, I might answer. But for now, I'm not going to tack on the stream too much.
Gotcha. Oh, very cool. All right. Well done. I saw you already painted up all your Space Marines, did you?
Yes, that is indeed the
quick.
case. Oh, apologies. I'm gonna need to go mute for a smidgen. I'm being called over for assistance.
All right. All good. I'll catch up with you guys here. Okay. Glow in the Dark Gamza. Did we share the share on our Discord yet, guys? Did we do that? I don't think we did. Right. Let's see here.
I'm double checking now, and we do have some shares.
All
So
right.
just to make sure I got it all correctly, today we're sharing. We're talking. Our topic of conversation is miniatures or stuff, or is it monsters that got ruined for you? Oh,
Yes. Monsters that
pain.
got ruined. Correct. And I'm just going to read out what a post we have in our Discord about which someone shared, and then we're going to move on to eating bugs and sharing our ruined monsters. So let me see here. Going to rat around. What kind of stuff do we have? What were you guys chatting here? Oh, let me catch up with this one first. We have Brant here saying that I collect Alien, Predator, and other monster figures in some monster movies. Right on.
Hey, Brent getting a double highlight because I also mentioned him when addressing the chat initially.
Cool. If you guys have cool collections, feel welcome to share them over on the Discord. I'll showcase them right here, right now. Yeah, I know the Hassel. I got the first one. Okay, gotcha. I'm sure Chris replied to that.
Yeah,
Next.
everything in the chat has been essentially handled. Though, have you informed the fabulous folks watching that they can also come join us up here in the on the live stream if they first join our fabulous Discord by clicking the link in the description below, where they first need to introduce themselves, share what their favorite monster is, where they're from, how they came across the channel, and once doing so, they'll be able to. Our moderation staff will admit them into the greater hall of the server, where they can visit the MonsterCast section and join in the type in the Join MC channel requesting access, and I shall vet them. You get personal private time with the rat. Yes.
Wow. Let's see. Personal time with the rat, and you don't even have to join his OnlyFans. So there you go, folks. That's what you get here for watching. All right, guys. Here's the segment. Now that I've been saving this thing as a celebratory thing, we'll kind of do it as a celebration before we give ourselves a little break here, Chris and I. And what this is Mixed Bugs. I bought this a while back, just so you guys see. Actually, it zoomed in. The zoom is set, but yeah, you can see under the lighting here, Mixed Bugs. I'm not making that up. There's that. So it's a thing you can order online, and they're dehydrated bugs, no added colors or preservatives, microwave dried and roasted, and with roasting, we'll have coffee along with these bugs. So my story as far as bug eating. Hold on, because I have to make a moment of first opening this and smelling it. Okay, that's not it yet. So I have eaten, when I was living over in Vietnam, I have eaten a grasshopper. That wasn't very good. And I say that because some people might be like, obviously, but it's not obvious, because what I've learned when eating really exotic and foods like that is that usually the scarier and nastier they look, the better they taste, is what I noticed, because I ate some pretty weird stuff. But the grasshopper did not taste good, or cricket. That was a cricket, I think. It was flavored, but it was just kind of the chitin on it, the exoskeletons, a little bit bitter, so it wasn't very tasty. So I'm hoping this is a little better, although it's going to be dry. I figure this is going to be like unsugared cereals out there, not much taste to it at all. Although it's going to be salted, so it'll have that going for it. I have been to Cambodia. In Cambodia, they sell a lot of tarantulas on a stick. They do that in Vietnam too. In some places, I didn't see that much there, but in Cambodia they do. And I didn't get a chance to try tarantula, but that's a common thing there.
I've seen that spiders have a bit of meat on them, particularly around the fangs is where you have the meatiest bit, allegedly. Well, I'm alone, and I'm eating a Snickers. Arthur, you have doomed me. How dare you? I swear, if this becomes a short, I'm going to short circuit your socks.
What? Did you call me? Sorry about that. I had to confirm something. If you guys ever sell on Facebook, That's been a little adventure I've been in. It's annoying. Like you'll get a lot of the Facebook Marketplace. I heard it's a great place for selling stuff, but you get a lot of messages and then people not showing up. So it's weird. I don't know why, but whatever. Back to this at
If I may
hand.
just plug in a bit on that comment of yours, buying
Yes.
and selling on Facebook, that depends a lot on the mutual parties involved because all those 52 miniatures I referenced earlier that I got recently, I got them off of Facebook.
Did you get it
And it
off the
said,
marketplace or off of some group and people you kind of
no,
know?
it was just a group for trading.
Okay.
And it was a
Yeah, that's
post from
better.
like April where folks, the gentleman in question had tried to sell them for a while. Apparently, people messaged him, but no one came through. And I was initially like, "Hey, I like this one bit that you're selling." Then, "Oh, I like this one too. Do you still have it in stock?" And then the third one, and lastly, you know what? I'm gonna take your entire stock because I like all of them.
Yep.
And I got the. If I were to buy all of these things on their own, it would come to about it would come to about a €200 total, the
Mm,
original stuff. Yet I managed to get all that stuff for like €85, so phenomenal discount.
right. Yeah, no, I think in groups like that, I think that's fine. There's a lot of trading groups and stuff like that. I don't think there's too much scamming. There's going to be scamming all over Facebook. Just expect that and be ready for it. But I'm using the marketplace in particular the first time. Usually before for furniture and stuff, I used Craigslist, and not too many issues with that. When people say they're going to come, they're going to come. You give them your address. But Facebook, there's so many, and I don't get the scam because if they're sellers and you're trying to buy, they will try to scam you to get your money into fake accounts. And sometimes if you're selling something and they buy, they're offering money ahead and they're like, cool, I'll come by today. Can I send you money through Zelle right now? And it's like, no, you didn't even see it. You shouldn't be offering me your money. That's how you know it's a scam. Because then what they do is they send something to your email and it leads to a different thing, but it looks like it leads to that. So there's those scams. But the thing I'm dealing with is like there's 30 people interested in a table. Each one says, cool, I want to pick it up. When? Okay, at this time. And then they ghost you. And I don't get the scam. I think what they're doing is there's a bunch of people working together in these groups or whatever, and they just waste your time because they're offering maybe your product somewhere else at a higher price. So they're just kind of wasting your time to see if they get a buyer, and then they'll buy it from you to sell it to them at a profit to them. I don't know. That's my assumption because they just ghost you. I don't get it. It's so freaking annoying because it really messes up your schedule. So just a heads up if you're in the Facebook Marketplace. Okay, the moment is here. This might be the greater moment than even our topic today. Let's see what they smell like first of all. So in the picture here, there's these a grub, right? It looks like a beetle grub kind of worm. I know those are pretty common to eat. I've seen people eat them in like shows like Survivor. They usually have like these really juicy little yellow white grubs, and they actually look like they would taste decently compared to other things in these critter families. If you just close your eyes and ignore that big bulky hard head that they have in the front, and imagine it not biting your tongue while you're trying to eat it. Next to it is another kind of grub, and then a grasshopper, and then two crickets on the top, regular feeder crickets that you would buy for your reptiles. So I'm very used to seeing those. All right, let's try this out. Let's smell it. Without further ado,
I was about to say this looks like food for my pet turtles,
yes,
but then you up and said it.
they would absolutely eat this as long as it can fit. Okay, never mind. There's a bag inside the bag, so it's very well packaged so that it retains its freshness. I like that, especially since I've had this for probably more than a year since we started 2.0. It's going to be messy. I should have brought a bowl. Dang. Okay, whatever. We'll make a mess on the table. We'll do anything for the Monsterites. And you guys are watching. If you guys can leave me a like for being a dancing monkey in front of the camera for you today, or sorry, a dancing Yeti. What the hell am I thinking? Then please leave a like out there. All right. We'll see. Let's see. There's a lot of those regular cheap crickets. I say cheap, the regular feeder crickets. That's what I'm seeing mostly. So if you're expecting, that's so funny. So even in the insect world, we have the scam because when you buy nuts and it shows you you're going to get peanuts, then you'll get cashews, and then you'll get that. So like 5% are cashews, 5% are walnuts, and then the rest are all like peanuts, the cheapest ones, right? So it's
Ah,
funny because they do that with this, but they even do that with insects.
so
So
you're
you,
left. So when you don't get your exact, you don't get the more cashews and walnuts, and just left like nuts.
there you go.
I'll see myself
Chris.
out for that dad joke.
So apparently here the peanuts are the crickets and everything else are like the cashews, the expensive ones. Because you would think it'd be nice and varied with this, but no, it's like 98 97% just regular feeder crickets from your pet store, and then there's like one or a couple grasshoppers, some pupa. Oh boy. Okay, let's try a regular cricket. It's funny because when you're filming yourself doing something nasty, your senses are so all over the place that it's so much easier to do it and not think about what you're actually doing. That's the funny thing of filming. It's like when you're at a concert and everybody's holding up the phone, they're like half enjoying it because they're looking through a phone. That's kind of this experience because normally I would think, you know what, actually I am in the now a little bit.
Having second thoughts about this, Arthur?
We got to do it.
Hmm.
What I do for, I don't know anymore. I don't know. I did now really know I'm doing it for you, Chris. So here we go.
Pro
All right, first
John,
cricket.
Turtle Arthur memes next week.
All right. So the question is, should I chew it up or just swallow it, or should I move it around in my mouth and get the taste out? What do you guys
Oh.
want?
Oh, obviously, you first need to move it around the mouth, see what the external taste is like. Then you chew it up to see how that goes. And if you hate it, then you swallow the next one so that you don't have to experience the taste as much as possible. Yeah, as Alana says, good luck there, Arthur.
Too bad the camera is not in autofocus because I'd show you what they look like. So the regular cricket here I'm holding is a male. You know it's a male because it doesn't have this long ovipositor, this long tube that goes off of its butt that looks kind of creepy. And there is one with that. That's a female, and she's got this long, sharp tube that comes off her butt. That's where she lays her eggs through. So that's okay. I'm taking the male. Chris said it. Where else would you get this kind of customization in your YouTuber eating stuff live? I'm going to put it in my mouth and I'll taste it. I'm not going to chew it up. I'm not swallowing. I'm not doing Survivor here. This is the Monster Master.
Is it spicy?
No, it's not spicy. It's not very salty either. I thought they'd be more salted.
As you're getting the taste, we have Lancer here saying you might as well experience the taste. I mean, I don't think you should eat them at all, but if you are, you might as well taste it.
I'm trying to figure out what to compare it to. If you eat rice, not rice, but like toasted rice, like what they use for cereal,
Hey,
there's
now you lost
not
me.
much taste to it.
The only thing I could say about like the rice cakes that are like a biscuit, you can put stuff on. That's the
I'm gonna
closest thing to
say
toasted rice I've eaten.
I'm gonna say it's better than that. Rice cakes, you're gonna eat that. You're not gonna have much of a flavor unless they're flavored, right? It's just this airy flavor. Let's go for another one. We'll do another cricket. It's all over there. You want a kiss?
No, Turtle Master Arthur.
That's right. I'm turtly enough for the Turtle Club, everybody. So another one here. So I'm going to say that it's mostly flavorless because you're eating this stuff that's very dried out. There's nothing juicy here at all. So it's not very disgusting in that way. There's not like guts and stuff. It's just very
So
dried out.
how do they get the guts out then? Because I'm presuming it's too small to kind of cut it open and take it out.
Oh no, you know what, Chris? The video is coming out soon when you were being insecticist, but you called their innards goop, to be correct.
Yeah,
That video's coming out, Chris. They're gonna catch you. All those
I
mantids.
don't care. I am a superior creature on the feeding pole.
So, basically, when they're dehydrated, that all dries up. If you're gonna microwave it all, that's microwaving dries up foods, as you guys know. So it's just dried up. All the
So
guts,
the inside
everything's
goop
dried
is
up.
still inside but dried up.
That's it, which decreases in size very much. It's like imagine your brain being completely dried up, it would be down to a few grams of matter.
Also,
Um,
like John.
Like John.
John Hahn. Oh boy. No hard
Okay.
feelings, John. We're
Second
all friends
cricket.
here.
Second cricket. This is what I'm eating if you guys are interested, because I do believe this is the future, and I'll explain in a moment. So what the taste it has is not too much, but then there's a little bit of a meaty flavoring to it. It's savory. So compared to like rice cake, which is completely almost flavorless, this has a little bit of a savory taste to it. Not bitter, not sweet, nothing that stands out, just a little bit savory. I think savory is the correct word, meaning it's a little bit kind of like meat. Why am I eating so much of it? I'll slow
Suddenly,
down.
as you begin to suffer, our viewership grows.
Yes. Okay. I wish they could see. Let me actually change the view here so that it's more, because they don't see
yes.
exactly what I'm eating
Put
here.
the suffering on full display. Oh, we had a bump of 5 extra people just now joined. Yep. Arthur's already chewing down on the crickets, and he might be grabbing something else.
All right. Next thing we're doing. So I ate these crickets. So again, but at least they didn't lie too bad, because you see on the bag they have 2 of those regular crickets on the top. So they're kind of showing that there's going to be more of this than this. So they kind of admitted it, but they didn't say like a lot more. It's like this is 90%, the rest is like 10% or less. Next, I'm going to be eating what you see on the bag here. So
I can't see anything, to be honest. I'm just seeing white.
Yeah,
I think you might need to get it closer to the camera.
Yeah, but my autofocus is turned off, so we'll
damn.
just deal with this. So anyway, the next thing is the thing in the middle, which looks like a pupa. It looks like when an insect is molting and it's in that stage, and it's just this useless organism that can't do much. That's what this is. Or it might also be a grub, which means like a kind of fat worm that's in the early life stage of a beetle. So what I'm curious about is, are they going to taste different? I'm assuming, so my assumption here, my prediction is that they're all going to taste.
We have Lancer asking what kind of seasonings are on these crickets.
So they do say that they're no added colors or preservatives, seasoned with salt. They say salt. I haven't tasted much salt at all. I think maybe a little salt to make them maybe not taste bad, or just to give them some flavor. So my hypothesis is that if I eat all the different kinds here, they're all going to taste the same, because really you're just eating, I think that's chitin on the crickets, right? The exterior exoskeleton.
Yeah, you're essentially consuming just pure protein with a bit of salt on it.
Yep. And calcium. So here we go. A lot more substance there. The cricket, like you just chew and it's like hollow inside. But this
one has a bit more crunch to it.
It does. It has more crunch. It's got more stuff going on.
And we have a few comments here. A lot of saying, "Suffer for our entertainment, Arthur. Suffer more." Followed by Trenton Maloney. Super gross, and he looks like he's about to hurl.
Come on, man. Don't say super gross. I know you'd be on this boat if you were here.
And we have Sebastian Moby. When mushrooms, Blackheart. By the way, I remember the fancy cricket salad in Vietnam.
Oh, okay. That's Sebastian saying that, because I was like, if somebody else is saying that and they know what's in store for later on today, then I was like, that's pretty nuts. But fancy cricket salad. All right. Well, this is how the day's starting. It's going to be a crazy day. All right. So that one had a bit more to it. Let's try another. Wow, these bad boys are. Yeah, there's a little bit of salt. I thought they'd be very salty. I like that they're just a little salty, so it doesn't take away from it. Because if you over salt things, then you don't really know finally what it tasted like. You just know that they salted it a bunch to hide something. It's just a little bit. So they're savory. Okay, next one. You see, this one's pretty thick. He's a thick boy. If you look at the back here, this is the back of it. I know it looks
like that one Pokemon Kakuna, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's sort of what it is. It's like a pupa in insect development. So this is the back of it. This is the front where the legs are kind of developing in the mouth and
Oh.
stuff. Um,
Very important question here from Lancer. Is the salt blessed? Because eating crickets with salt that's not blessed is what creates were crickets.
oh, actually, it was cursed by a satanic priest for me. So there we go. That's how we
Well,
do it here.
thankfully you're a turtle, so you're immune to the effect.
I will bite this one in half. So we will take a look what it looks like inside, and I'll try to describe it to you as best I can. Here we go.
I
Oh no,
heard
I
the
closed
crunch on
my
that
eyes.
one. That was very audible.
ASMR or is that what do they call it? The mukbang, insect mukbang. Yes, ASMR of me eating insects if life doesn't get more disgusting than that. So yeah, you won't see much inside, but you can see that it's not hollow. It's like if you've ever seen bone marrow, what bone looks like inside, because bones aren't completely hollow, but they're not solid. They have like marrow. It's like a spongy material, right, inside bone. That's basically what it looks like in here. So it does have more crunch to it. Let's see if the taste is any different to the cricket. Sebastian shouldn't be shocked at any of this. Where is his comment? Okay, it's still there. All right. Okay, that one. Let's get another cricket. See, I'm not these YouTubers that go, I'm getting 1 million views for doing this crap. No, I'm going back to the crickets now. I'm having a whole feast of this. It is an actual insect mukbang. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the cricket right now to compare it with the other one. It's funny because it's stuff you guys aren't even asking for, but I'm already going there.
So we got it from JMPF. Arthur Cricket, followed by a couple comments. Arthur about to turn into a human cricket hybrid. Look carefully, and you can see his mandibles underneath the lips. With Arthur's fall from YouTube's graces put him on the spot so much he had to start doing bug eating ASMR just to find a new niche for himself. I don't
Yes,
think we've
Lada, you
stooped
know how
that
to dig
low.
in. Lada knows how to dig in there. Thank you, Lada. Now I was so talkative eating that cricket that I didn't even notice its taste, so I have to eat another one. Okay, and now eat another one of those grubs. We still have a grasshopper here. Okay. Me chewing this with my crowned tooth was just a funny thought in my head. Just chewing on an insect with my crown for some reason. Okay, the grub, since it has more to it, there's a little bit more of that cardboardy taste to it. There's a little bit more of that calcium. Overall, the savoriness is still there. They're all kind of savory. Nothing bitter yet. This is all too dry to be bitter. I think if you'd have got stuff like that still fresh, goop as Chris calls it, then ooh, this one's nasty looking. Oh boy, this one is. Oh no, it's got little hairs or some. Oh, this one's bad looking. Look at this. This one's bad because it's squished.
Oof. That's a
I'm
flat
not
one.
that much of a lowlife that I'm gonna eat a squished insect, or am I? Oh, so yeah, this is like your fat worm. Oh, it's because it's that fat one. Okay, so on here it's gonna be those white ones, those white yellowy plump ones. Yep, right there. Whew, that is nasty looking. That's actually, yeah, you'll see that? It's got the hard, dark head. You know what? I'm curious. Oh, so that it's basically got like a caterpillar head, and then which is the hardest part always. I always imagine it's the nastiest part when I watch people eat
We have
honey.
Trent on asking, does it taste like shrimp?
No, although I haven't eaten raw shrimp, no, I don't think so. That's a lot more fleshy and wet.
What
And
I
yeah,
can say, Trent, is that from what Arthur is describing so far, in terms of ingredients and also the taste of the actual thing, I'm becoming more and more appreciative of sunflower seeds.
Sunflower
Semki,
seeds.
or as so the favorite of Boris says, Semichki. No, that is actually the correct way to say it is Semki.
That's not a bad comparison, actually. Sunflower seeds. Yeah. A little bit more simple, a little bit more savory than sunflower seeds. So, yeah, that's a good description. So when one show where I have, it's good that it was double sealed. At least I know it's like clean and there's not fungus or something growing on this or other insects. But where I've seen people eat insects, for example, is like the show Survivor, right? In a competition, and they would eat them alive and like these big grubs like this, and they'll bite the tongue because the jaws are still moving, and jaws are hard on an insect to chew through different things. So what they do, some people would do is they would bite the head off real quick and swallow that first, and then eat the rest. Some would just swallow the whole thing. Some would chew it up really quick. I always think like, what would I actually do with that? Because the head part really, that's the freaky part. Okay, so eating the fat, juicy one, kind of squished here. This is the typical one. This doesn't compare to how it would taste fresh. So that's a whole different thing. All right, let's do this.
Well, that sounded like chips.
Don't make light of
We
this,
have a
Chris.
lazy bot chiming in. We all know you eat humans, Monster Master. Unconfirmed and undenied, with Sebastian adding crunchy and squishy LFG. Followed by Trenton being like, veganism is calling to me. No, bad, Trenton. Bad. We do not eat the food's food unless it's tomatoes with basil, specifically.
Can you, Chris,
All
I'm so
potatoes.
used to seeing that in MMOs. Can you tell me what the acronym from LFG is real quick? Such a
Looking
boomer
for
question.
group. But
Right,
I
looking
think
for
in this
group.
case, Sebastian might be saying looking for God.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that's because I have seen it lately in some areas, and I know it's not looking for group. Okay, all right, good. I had to ask it. I'm not shy. I know if I don't know something, I don't know something. All right, I'm gonna follow that one up with a cricket. Crickets are nothing compared to these guys. They're so empty. I'm not being
Like,
crickets.
it's perfectly okay to be crickets, as they are inferior life forms. Does the packaging have a list of how many calories the whole thing contains?
Good question. No, it doesn't. Imported by Newport Jerky Company. Okay, cool. Imported from where though? There's this price bar.
I'm
code
guessing
sticker
China.
covering. I don't know because it's Newport Jerky Company import. So I don't know. Possibly. I don't know if they would go that far. Contains 1 times oxygen absorber. Okay, so there's a bag of oxygen. Allergen warning. Crustaceans. Dehydrated grasshopper, house crickets, silkworms. So those are silkworms. Fun. Field crickets, sago worms, and salt. Delicious. My weekend. This is what I've been working hard all week for right here. This is my reward. Okay, one more. Let's do some ASMR. House cricket here.
Well, if it doesn't have the caloric intake, how much does the pack itself weigh, or like what's the quantity of bug that you have?
The tyranids that I'm feeding on here. It's not very much. I mean, they're dried out bugs. Here's the bag within the bag, and it's pretty. It's pretty full here with. Yeah, you're not going to see much. There's that little pouch to keep it fresh.
Would you say it has about 100 grams, maybe?
I think 100 grams is a bit of weight. I think that it would be definitely lighter than that. There's a weight on here. It's 0.5 ounces, so 15 grams. Okay, 15 grams.
Oh.
Best before August 2021. What the hell? I'm a little bit late on this. Okay, well, better late than never. I never say. Okay, so let's have another one of these. Okay, let's jump into the last one here. I mean, the one we haven't. Oh, crap, it fell apart. Let's see if there's a better sample of this. I don't think my wife even knows what's going on. Oh no, there's the black ones. I think that's what I ate some years ago.
Uh-oh. Arthur, you sure you want to phrase it like that?
The black crickets, the big black crickets that you find outside here. That didn't help, did it? Okay. Rip apart and eat live octopus next. Nah.
Now, that is animal cruelty, and here in World of Monsters, we do not condone that. We only condone human cruelty.
And the thing is, octopus are another level. That's a whole another level of organism. And there's a great show, I think it's on Netflix, where they go in depth on the octopus. And a lot of people watch that and they're like, I am never even going to think about eating octopus again. So I do recommend people watching that because they are very fascinating and intelligent creatures. Okay, this one's big. It is it's one of those black
it's a chunky.
crickets. You know, so you got your regular feeder crickets, and then your black crickets. These ones they sell at pet stores. I don't know why they never sell the black ones, the bigger ones.
Come on, Arthur, gobble up that BBC.
I have a feeling this is going to be. Okay, I do have eat bugs in the title, so people do know what to expect. Good. Hold on, my life's going before my eyes right now. Oh yeah, I do think this is going to be a bit more bitter because I think I've eaten one of these before at a restaurant back in Vietnam, like a restaurant, not like just off the street. And that was a little bitter. Okay, here we go. Oh no, it's like hard. Oh man, do you want to ASMR? Here you go. People either join for this or leave.
It's been fluctuating a little bit. And it seems JMPF is on the same mindset as Mia. So how did that BBC go in? Don't choke on it.
Smooth like butter. Wait, living for a living. Wait, what did he say? What did the pro say there? Arthur goes out to hunt for a living cow and kills him, biting its neck. That's a bit more dramatic. I don't condone that, but the way you describe me doing that, that's, that could be in the future.
Cows are expensive, and not buying it first would make it the theft of property. And here we do not support illegal activities.
We need at least 50 patrons for that.
At least, minimum.
At least 50 patrons. Okay, here's a... so nasty. So nasty. Okay, grasshopper. Grasshopper. You can see the length here. The legs have fallen off. These are a little bit delicate. They fall apart. There's a full grasshopper for you guys, and now it's in my mouth.
Since we're already trying animals, says a lot of, we haven't tried before. Shall we also eat a cooked dog? No. I will slap you. Dogs are friends.
I will admit it here. Should I? No, it's out of context. I mean, it is in context. I'm not getting into it. This one's nasty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we found the taste difference. Overall, there hasn't been much. I think, yeah, I've eaten a grasshopper before. Not a fan. Grasshoppers are... So two taste differences there. So we're comparing the grub, crickets, and grasshopper now. And who mentioned tastes like, does it taste like shrimp? I think that was Trenton.
I think it was Sebastian.
Whoever mentioned
cows
that.
And pigs are friends. Cows and pigs can be friends, but they're predominantly food.
You rat.
Because they're easy to wrangle.
So...
Yes, see, I'm indeed a rat. I'm the rat.
I think I'm getting high off of these. So the grasshopper is more bitter. It does have a bitter tinge to it.
Are you talking about the regular feeder one or the black one?
The actual grasshopper. They're like a little bit more reddish.
Mm-hmm.
So neither of the crickets. It's the grasshopper.
All right, you make distinctions between cricket and grasshopper.
Do you guys need clarification on that? Are we good? Basically, crickets are the ones that will crawl, sometimes jump. They go into darker, deeper crevices, and then grasshoppers you'll see sitting high above on long grasses and jumping far, right? And a whole different body structure. So that's why I thought, because they're very close to each other in relation biologically, but so I thought they taste very similar, but actually the grasshopper is significantly more bitter. I'll have a half of a grasshopper here. You can see that their body is narrower and then longer that way, and just a narrow body, although this one is missing half of it. I didn't kill any of them. Okay, so more bitter, and it has a little bit of that shrimpiness taste on top of the savoriness. So a little bit shrimpy to whoever.
If Trenton jumping in, did you know that insects often contain parasites like tapeworms? I think that's the case if you eat them raw, but if you
I hate
burn
you,
them to a
Trenton.
crisp.
I hate you. You're not helping out today here. So grasshoppers, and it tastes more insecty. If you can fathom and imagine what that means when Arthur says an insect tastes insecty, that's what the grasshopper tastes. The other stuff just tastes like savory, rice cake. Okay, last one, I think. I'm getting full. And that was a big grub too. Or
Oh, a chunker.
all right. Enough of this. Clown this. Monster Master Clown here. Well, we did it, folks. We tried every one of them. My favorite, actually, I kind of like the fat ones because there's a little bit to something to it. The easiest ones to eat if you're kind of squeamish would be the little crickets. Then on the scale from what's harder and harder to eat, what's kind of nastier, I would say the crickets are the easiest. The regular small crickets, as they're more empty, less substance. Then I would say probably the round pupa and the fat flattened one. So I just had one of those. Oh, there's still more. Disgusting. And then after that, the black, bigger crickets. And then, well, no, that's I'm talking by nastiness. Whatever. Whatever. The ones that taste the worst are the grasshoppers. The rest are fine. There's not much flavor. Now, I did mention that I do foresee, I'm not foresee, but I do think this has the future, because if we switch to eating insects in our world of human monsters, instead of eating cows and that produce methane and take up space and money and all this crap, if people switch to breeding insects and growing plants, you get the nutrition you need, you get protein, you're killing stuff that is a much more simple organism. There's not a lot of animal rights sticking behind insects and not eating that. It's a lot more socially friendly. And if we just did that and replace big farms and stop eating pigs and stuff like that, maybe just do that as a traditional or rare thing and really switch to this. And there's different ways to cook them up and stuff. And then other vegetarian ways. And I'm not talking here to being vegetarian. I'm saying just replace a lot of the meats with this. You can watch videos about that. That's actually a very good approach that could help humanity a lot. Just imagine how much less space we'd have to take up and how much cheaper it would be to produce. And you can make burgers or whatever out of it. How many poor people could afford food and everything? So as one savior to our society and world, insects are a good way to go. Kind of like seafood a lot. So,
And to prove that we have a balanced monster cast, I'm here to say, no, I shall never eat the boogs. I shall consume flesh from proper developed creatures because that's what they are made for. If they didn't want to be prey and be on my plate, they should have evolved harder.
The people will, like you mentioned, consider it nasty or something. Well, I consider if you cut up a cow and pull out its heart, I would be much more disgusted to eat that fresh than this fresh. And after things are processed, finally people, and in the future, people are going to get dumber and dumber with this. They'll get a hamburger. They won't realize it's a cow. It's just, hey, it's a meat patty. just as children see them until you bring them to the awareness that it comes from this huge, smelly animal. Didn't mean to put down the animal, just kind of bringing you to reality that this is not much more at all disgusting than what's in our food day to day. It's just that's more processed. And it's all hidden and it's colored, just like a lot of stuff in America. I mean, the whole world, but America likes to really hide its ugliness and in propaganda of beauty. Okay.
See, Trenton, it might be a good idea for Arthur to have a stiff drink, but it's not. We don't do that on stream.
We've had stiff drinks before, and stiff drinks have had us. Trenton, if you want me to save you some, Trenton's one of the few monsterites I've actually met in real life and hung out with. Awesome. You can go over to our Discord, and I have a couple pictures of me and one of him, actually. Trent, you still got to share that one picture of me holding your the flail. All right, moving on, everybody. That's been an hour of fun. Let's move to our final, to our main topic of the day. What a build-up! I tell you what, this has been one of the best, or maybe just me. I don't know. Chris, would you really, if you were here, would you try any one of these?
No.
Would you be open to it?
No. On point of principle, no.
Ah, some kind of principle. That's
Yes.
not very radish of you.
I'm
Radish.
unique among rat kind.
Alrighty. Thank you, everybody. Actually, what was I going to say now? Oh, yes. So we are going to take a hiatus, as I mentioned. I do want to mention that these monster casts and this show style I'm trying out, right, since last year, end of last year. We're doing this with Chris. And it's like, again, the more harder we try with YouTube and stuff, right now, just the algorithm's hating the channel in general and just keeps dropping whatever I do. Whatever. The point is, I want to see how this goes, how people like these shows. But I have to set a time limit because I can't just keep doing it and dragging on and then surprisingly stop doing it. We're done. We're spent, you know. So I'm thinking of a plan. Let's shoot this for, let's say, a year. Let's see how this goes. Chris and I was going to mention this privately with Chris and talk with him, but that's what I'm thinking. I want to be honest here and open with you guys because I would love to continue these indefinitely, but if it really, you know, doesn't do anything, this still takes effort, and editing these afterward and clipping them, everything takes effort. And if they don't do well, I still love doing my other episodes or the ranking and the grading of monsters. I do want to release many of those. This takes time away from that, but if this does well, I'm happy to do either one, whatever works. So I got to just see whatever works because I don't like to be a dying thing. I don't like to just, okay, so we continue for 10 years with our 5 viewers. We love them. They love us. I like things to grow and not stagnate. So I'm thinking, let's shoot this for a year. So that means for a year and from the beginning of this year. So we'll go until the end of the year. Let's see how this goes. Let's push it. Let's see if we can grow and develop. And if we can, awesome. Then I'll just add more revenue that's coming out. Right now, I'm using all the revenue that I get from YouTube ads to make this show and have me and Chris here. All of it's going back into the channel and more because the pay is actually dropping. I thought it would go up by this point when I started this, but it's been dropping. So I'm adding more of my cash now every month to keep this running. If it gets better, more of that will go back in and all that. And eventually, hopefully, I can get some profit out of this. But if it doesn't go well, we'll try something else. And, you know, I want to keep the channel going. I just don't like to stagnate and do something that a lot of people really don't care about. I still want to, because I know there's a lot of cool people out there, and I do want to bring us all together in one place. That is the goal. All right.
Lada here has made a comment that I need to object to. You know, I am a third Slavic, a third Thracian, and a third of the Mongol peoples, not Turkic. Shame on you.
Eat wolves, not insects.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's eating doggos. He got you there.
I don't eat doggos. Doggos are friends. Doggos help hunt things. That's why we keep them around as friends, because they're useful.
Until there's nothing for them to hunt for you.
Well, that's
Okay,
why we have good hunting permits and stuff.
now monsters that got ruined for you. That's a tricky topic for me because personally, I'm not that attached to any monsters out there. I don't know if I ever have been, but especially at my stage in life, there's nothing I'm like, oh man, that movie ruined it, and I'm gonna go complain about it all around the. I don't get attached to these kind of things to that level, but it's still a relevant topic. But it's hard for me to pinpoint what really got ruined. It's very easy to crisscross this topic with monster failures. So I think a lot of what I'm going to talk from my end is kind of crisscrossing between monsters that got ruined for me slash that kind of failed because of how they were expressed. But let's stick to monsters that got ruined for you, because I really want to hear you guys out because I'm sure you're going to shout out things that I totally agree with. So I'm looking forward to your guys' shares. Let's get Lotta in here. Actually,
Yeah, I'm gonna need a link for that.
Oh, you need a link for that.
Yeah, I sent
You
you a
need
chat.
something off me.
And also, you provided Lazy Bot being maybe Chris is related to Genghis Khan. I mean, who isn't, to be honest? You know that man's genetic diversity is spread wide.
Welcome in, Lotta. Yeah, I saw that curse. I kind of forgot. We need a, and I'll forget this because we're taking a break, but I should just give you that link at the start of the show. Okay, so let me mention a thing or two, and we'll go off of people. Let's open our Discord. Let's take a look at our people. Let's see if they've shared anything yet here. I see this looks reminiscent of what I just ate. You know what to celebrate? Let's eat one more little cricket here. Let's just eat throughout the show, just to show you guys that I'm open to the idea of this actually being a grocery store item. I don't mind that. Crickets in a half shell. Turtle power.
This is I'm sorry, but as someone who had a very rural upbringing and worked on like fields and whatnot, I will never consider the pest that ruins food to be food.
This share over here, was this on this? No, this was a collecting topic, I think. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to the Alchemist Tower. This is our patrons area. They get priority in sharing in the topic, and they have nothing. This used to be my meme because Arthur would come into Discord and people would be like, "Hey, Arthur's here. Hey, Arthur," and then I'd just kind of
Disapprove.
But all right, Lotta. I hope whatever Lotta says today will be actually on topic, and he's not going to give us a sideball that it seems like it's related to our topic, but not really. So Lotta likes to do that. Okay, so let me share. Let me start us off on the topic, and then we'll move to other people. All right, so for me, what got ruined? What got ruined for me? I'm going to start with monsters that got ruined to me because of being overexposed. So again, not really ruined for me, but let me explain when I get to them. Number one, it's a big one. Don't hate me for it, but I got to shout it out. I'm sure some people will feel it out there. Because overexposure, dragons. Let me clarify. Look at my face. I love dragons. I've always loved dragons. That is the point. I grew up loving dragons. I drew the best dragons back in the day. Sebastian, if he's still in our chat, he can attest to that. I love dragons. I wanted to tattoo myself and put horns on me like a dragon. Truly, I wanted to do body modification when I grew up and be a full-time artist, which I can do now since I am a full-time artist. I can do whatever the hell I want.
You're a responsible adult with dispensable income.
But growing up and seeing dragons everywhere, it's just it took away from that passion of me to like want to draw them and make them. I still love them. There are so many dragons coming out every year in miniature format and miniature companies doing it and companies adding them to their board game. Dragons are out there, many of them. They're still awesome. It's just, there's just so many that I just don't have a desire to create any lately myself. So I love you, dragons. I love you. It's just people. So next, in the same vein of overexposure for me, and you guys got to understand this. I still love them. What is this channel known to be largely about, other than monsters in general? What monster in particular do people know this channel for? Anybody?
Mhm. The woof woof.
There you go. And Sebastian is here. He said 100% about me drawing dragons. Yep. Yep, because he always brought that up back in middle school. But yes, so the other thing is, I love these guys too. Werewolves. I thought I'm going to get the full screen format here. Okay, I got the wrong measurement on these images. Anyway, I love me some werewolves. But ever since I started this channel and I got the push up and the bump because I released a lot of werewolf stuff because I loved it, it made me do more werewolf videos, right? To keep the channel growing. And if I wanted to really keep the channel growing now, I should do werewolf stuff, to be honest. It's just my old subscribers are like, why do I just see werewolves here? And I get it, because it's World of Monsters. But I might have to do that again if I really want to get people more interested. But it doesn't work, because then when I veer off and want to be more World of Monsters, then what happens is what's happening now with the channels, people start dropping. So there's like no point unless I really want to make it World of Werewolves. And I don't think I'm that committed to that. I'm committed to werewolves enough to use them to boost my channel from time to time, but not for them to become the channel. There's just too much cool stuff out there. So I love werewolves, but I've been showcasing them, watching clips of them. I have the biggest clips of werewolf movies on the YouTube platform for now. I have every movie ever made that you can find on werewolves, all that stuff. What was I going to say? So I have nothing but love for them. But you got to think, if I'm making clipped videos of werewolves, do you realize that I have to skim through all of these movies and find out that good clip that I want to pull out? So then do I want to watch those movies? Kind of, yeah, because I'm like, oh, that is cool. But then you get all these spoilers because I got to get all this content. And that just goes by, and you look at more and you look at more, and finally you don't really have that pool to see it. If it's on TV, cool, you'll click on it, but you don't really search for it anymore because it's just so overexposed. So I still
Pros accusing you of just deflecting attention from your lycanthropy.
Well, you know, or you never know. Let's
And
celebrate
speaking
that.
of, we have an old Soviet car model here in the chat with us.
Car model. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Hey, you watch it, Chris. You watch it.
Well, I'm factually correct.
So what was I saying? Yeah. So is that really that they got ruined for me? Not really. So I don't think it's totally relevant to the topic. We'll get more relevant as I go. So just wanted to get this out of the way. Let's get Lada in here. Greetings, Lada.
They call me Lada. I eat enchiladas. Hello.
There we go. He
Your
is
engine
Lad
must be stuffed.
He is Lad for short. Real quick, Lada, would you eat one of these bugs if you were here? Would you try one?
As I said, no, I think I am like too much grown up in this idea that you shouldn't eat bugs because it's gross and it's something that Asians do and that you shouldn't do it. But it's like a, you know what? I think I'm gonna definitely raise my kids to eat bugs because as you said, it is the future, and definitely wanna, and like I probably
not if I can help it.
I mean, I'm gonna definitely try it one day and try it, but I still need my like real meat, like the cows, the pigs, the horses, even the chickens, yes, the ducks.
Sure, okay.
It's like, yeah, you still need those. It's just the fact that there's just too many people on this planet. It's not overpopulation, it's just too many people on the planet. And if we didn't have so many, we wouldn't need so many, cows on the planet as well.
Counter solution: we get more planets. Simple as.
Yes, get more.
Like you said, it's not overpopulation. It's just how we've organized ourselves on this planet. It doesn't work, and this would help out with that. Yeah. Good. Okay, so you get it.
There is a detail that I feel obliged to mention, that it has. I have looked into this research-wise. There's different types of protein And the ones contained in bugs compared to the ones in normal meat are severely different, and the ones in bugs are very much so inferior and can leave your body with lacking required nutrients.
I mean, as I said, it's you still need the regular normal meat, but we don't need, you know, as much of it.
Okay, so um, anyway,
Just watch your calories then, simple as.
you're kind of you get it though, Lotta. It's just how you mentioned that I'm kind of an adult and I find it nasty. Actually, it's the opposite. That's kind of an immature understanding, thinking of them nasty. But I'm starting things here.
Not that I'm adult and find them nasty. It's just I was raised to find them nasty.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
That's a lot of us. And the point is, if they would go mainstream, you wouldn't eat them like this. Just as we don't eat a cow leg with fur on it. It would be processed.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It wouldn't even matter.
Although for me, I don't even find like the crayfish and shrimp to be particularly tasty or nice to eat. So
I see. You're particularly.
And I actually find people who eat the sea bugs to be more gross than those who eat normal bugs, because it's like you eat sea bugs, which are bugs that smell like fish. That's even worse.
Okay, you're out of here, Lotta. Okay.
Yeah. I have Lancer saying no bugs for me. From my understanding, the protein in the bugs, we can't absorb most of it, and the exoskeleton composition can cause other problems if consumed too much. I'd rather go with rice. Yep. Educated man.
Wait.
You should
What problem?
Eat potatoes. Just eat potatoes.
If it's too much with rice. So
okay,
rice.
Your analogy. The analogy you made is not very true. So the thing you just now ate is not the same as eating a cow leg with like the fur still on, because what you're eating is still again processed. It's the equivalent of a cow leg skinned and roasted over fire, and that is still far more nutritious, tastier, and natural to consume. Because the bugs, they carry diseases and stuff. That's why we do not eat them. Not simply. That's why we think they're gross, because they are.
They're not mainstream yet.
Okay,
they haven't gone through all the crap that all the other food has gone.
Yeah.
And all the
we
steroids.
wait a decade. We wait a decade, and most of those problems will be gone. It's just that we exactly this. Like we still find them gross, but we need to actually change that, and it will take like a decade.
This isn't going to come out as a eating bugs debate stream. Order. Now,
no, you're right.
I wanted to mention to you earlier, when you were still in the walls, that if you look at our overlay, right, there are images here. If you close the chat and you see our graphics, right, where I always upload my graphics.
I do.
Right, as you know, so I always have the check and the X that I used for our game before. I'm always going to keep those two there. So if Arthur says something jokingly cancelable, you're always welcome to put that big red on me. Or if I say something that's maybe controversial or whatever, but you like or agree with, or just whatever, for fun, you can use that. So
I wouldn't want to sabotage you. I just support myself. That's why I put out the check mark, because I am correct.
But yes, you are welcome to enjoy those.
And we have a Lancer clarified: if it's consumed too much, the chitin of the bugs, it increases the risk of spinal cancer.
Oh, get the hell out of here, people! I'm trying to entertain you, and look what you're doing.
Well, but where's the negative in that?
If it makes you happy, I'll just continue eating these. All right, I'll just continue eating these and sucking out the brains, because that's what I enjoy most. Moving on.
Sure? It's better because it's better than bugs.
Thank
Where's
you.
the negative? Where's the negative in gaming
Chris,
cancer? I can finally die.
Let's hear about a lot of. Do you need to be muted?
No.
I joke. Well, you guys are welcome. I just tease Lotta because Lotta's just
Lotta.
I'll tell you that.
I am myself.
So, Chris, go ahead and tell us what monsters got ruined for you and why.
Well, in my case, it's I tried to think about it, and I don't really have one specific monster. I don't have many overall monsters that I got rid of, because for the ones that I don't fancy, I just don't consume content regarding them. and I can always split and distinct them. But in regard, there is one in particular that I'm sad how things went in regards to it. And let me just grab the screen share,
Sure thing.
and that would be the bugs from Starship Troopers, in particular the brain bug. Where, to
Yes.
preface, the original movie, phenomenal, terrifying, but still not overwhelming, like not fear crippling type of enemy. The only good bug is a dead bug. A bit tying into the live stream from the earlier topic. And see, they were technically animalistic, but still sentient in a different way from humanity, which made them terrifying in that way. But it was still an accomplishment to essentially capture a general of the bug species, the arachnids. But first movie, phenomenal. Excuse me. In the second movie, we had the bugs essentially be revealed to be what they truly are, damn dirty Xenos that just want to exterminate humanity because how dare they? But the third film in this movie series, where they made the brain bug psychic, capable
You
of
went too far in the
bursting people's
series.
heads. Yeah, and then there was a giant bug, and this is huge spoilers for Starship Troopers Marauder. Don't watch it. Okay, let me just show you this because this is referring to the full book. So,
Show us.
Starship Troopers Marauder. Just wait for that. Why didn't the search start?
Tasty looking.
The
Oh,
bugs in it were
oh, right.
see, such cartoon. In the first film, the bugs look very realistic and actually presently there. This is literally just a cartoon overlaid in the background.
Yeah.
When you look at it in the actual film, it's like, this here drawing looks more realistic than what was used in that movie, and just the disappointment of it in that film, of that, in addition to just making the brain bugs psychic and capable of bursting people's heads. Since when? Why didn't it do it to defend itself when it was captured in the first movie? Doesn't make sense. It breaks continuity. And then the awful, horrendous CGI it made it even more worse. And then there was a giant planet-sized bug that was apparently pretending to be God to lure people to it. And that whole movie. Sadly, the Starship Troopers film series went downhill severely. It picked up a bit with Invasion and Traitor of Mars, but it's still. That's why I only elect to count the very first original Starship Troopers movie as the only one that exists, because it's the actually decent one. But what they did with the bugs in them, it severely upset me, and I am.
So let
They
me
were
ask,
ruined for me, so to say.
because I think when I was looking at my own topic, and don't want to show that just yet. When I was come on, switch, damn you, technology. Yeah. So, because when I was looking into this topic, I was thinking that um, finally, is the question that the movies got ruined for me and the franchise, or did that particular monster? Because I noticed it's a lot easier to say just the movies or that particular
Oh, no,
franchise.
everything put together.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
the monsters were very poorly presented. The bad
Yep.
CGI, they broke continuity with what they were capable of doing. The brain bug just suddenly has psychic powers and is able to blow people's heads out.
Mhm.
Why didn't it use it initially to defend itself? Who knows? And then there was
That's why-
because
yep.
we all know that the arachnids have queens. They're the ones who run the hive mind essentially. And suddenly you have planet godbug. Where did this come from? Why? So the monsters themselves ruined on all three factors.
Gotcha.
Then you have the film itself having a very silly plot. Let's put it like that. I don't want to be offensive.
Yeah.
And so the overall presentation, the CGI, just the effects and everything, dialogue was rather spotty as well. Everything put together ruins the movie. But one of the core pillars of the movie being ruined is that the bugs were ruined. The monster itself was ruined for me
Gotcha.
specifically.
Okay. I think there's a lot of movies like that. Chris, because you knew I'm going to do this bug eating episode, did that influence your decision at all for talking about this today?
A
Definitely.
smidgen, but unironically, not counting anything, I tried to think of any other monster that I have enjoyed that got ruined for me like that, and I can't. The bugs were the only conscious idea I could come up with.
This is one of the leg parts from the grasshopper, so you can see how long the leg is. Crickets won't usually have that long of a leg. Of course, depends on proportion. There we go. Okay. So, do you have more shares, Chris?
Well, I technically have a short video. I don't have a share in regards to monsters that were ruined for me.
Okay.
But I do have a small video that I might want to. I want to see if it actually gets uploaded successfully or if it's too large.
Okay.
It's like 10 seconds. But
if it does get uploaded in that area there where you add source, then
failed to
it'll
upload
appear.
video clip.
Oh,
Sour.
Really? That's
Yeah, I
sad.
think I've showed it before on the Monstercast, but I'm gonna just post it in the Monstercast chat at the very bottom.
Okay.
If you want to check it out.
You can always find it on YouTube too. It'll be smoother just watching that off of.
I don't know. It's a downloaded video. Just if you want to play it for the chat right now on stream,
Let's check
just
it
a
out.
quick 10 seconds.
Here we go, guys. This is Chris's conclusion display clarification to what he was talking about. Ooh, nice. Full screen. Let's watch.
Yes. Says
Rest in peace.
The Terran Federation did absolutely nothing wrong.
I stand by those words.
There we go.
I mean, they were just bugs.
Beautiful presentation, Chris.
Also, I must say, I love how Chris says it's only a 10-second video and then uploads a 20-second video.
I misremembered. Shut up.
Now, with that, we got a nice segue to the Alchemist and Lada here, because Lada did mention vampires. And you know, Lada, before you get into it, that's a good one. I think that a lot of people feel that because the oversaturation and just ruining of what vampires. I'm surprised I didn't think of it, because Dracula crossed my mind, but that wasn't ruined too much. But vampires in general,
that's the
with this,
point. Dracula was that midpoint for vampires, you know. Before, like he was still a monster, but they weren't yet sexualized to the point they are nowadays. Nowadays, vampires are just seen as some sort of human with fangs that drinks blood and cannot be out in the sun, and even that isn't true. You know, and you see all those cartoonish vampires that aren't afraid of either crosses or garlic or anything, and it's pretty much just a human with some superpowers. It's really strange because when we go back in time and see the vampires for what they used to be and how people used to see them, they were monsters, and like full-blown monsters, demons even. And it's scary. Not just like vampires are just the most popular of those, of the things that I would love to mention, but unfortunately I don't feel so good enough to mention them all extensively. But yeah, see, you can see it pretty easily how they went from a demon to like slightly demonic human to a overly sexualized human, and sooner or later they will just be blended into society as something that is pretty normal. You know?
Because
I think
like Dracula and such, I mean, they can be seductive. They do have that power, but it doesn't mean they have to be a walking beef bag. They can be this.
Yes, and usually when you see a Dracula movie or a book or some like anime, right? Dracula can be both in his like the human form that is only slightly scary and can easily turn into something more demonic.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, ultra sexy. Ultra sexy superheroes nowadays, vampires are. And I think also the second thing that I wanted to just mention briefly and not actually talk about it extensively, another thing that got ruined, like I wouldn't call it monster per se, but as a fantasy race, definitely orcs got ruined for me.
Where in particular, or how?
Well, the original orcs from the Tolkien fantasy, obviously, where how the orcs were intended to be, they were sort of like corrupted elves and humans that were like completely taken over by the darkness, and they were just an evil race. It's not to say that there weren't good orcs, because apparently there also were good orcs. It's just to say that overly. I think today it's really it's like a taboo to portray one fantasy race as completely evil, even though it technically shouldn't be. Back in Tolkien's world, orcs were technically a force of nature. Even if we consider that they were corrupted by an evil god, then yeah, they were a force of nature, and so they had all the rights to be evil. And nowadays, when they made orcs into this more like uh, Warcraft or Warhammer, really like hunks of meat that are just there, like some barbarians trying to, and they have some motives behind them, and technically they can be portrayed as good. But yeah, that's exactly it. They over sexualized orcs as well. It's gotten to the point where it's disgusting, and they are trying to portray them even more overly sexual. And just, I miss the good old days of orcs in the Tolkien universe. Thank you.
Agreed. I love Warhammers in general. Warhammer's take on orcs, just aesthetically, I think what they did is a memorable, unique, awesome design compared to other orcs out there too. But I feel even they're starting to mess that up slowly. So hopefully they keep the true Warhammer orc alive
As
for
in-
many years to come.
In regards to what the two of you were mentioning about having, how dragons, werewolves, and orcs being ruined, I can see where you're coming from, but I think you're kind of coming in from the wrong perspective. In regards to such generalized groups like dragons and stuff, the reason I didn't think of anything that ruined it for me, because for me, dragon is just a general thing. So yes, there's bad made dragons, there's good made dragons. I keep enjoying the good ones, and I completely disregard and ignore the bad ones. Therefore, for me, it's not ruined, and if it's oversaturated, I just consume the one bit I like and leave everything that essentially piles up on top of it. So I don't even consider it. So to me, that can't really be ruined. Now, if you're talking for something specific, then I can see the ruin, because the Tolkien
Gotcha.
orcs are. Oh yeah, they essentially ruined them with what they were doing in the Rings of Power thing. Or like as Arthur mentioned, you can ruin something. To ruin something, it needs to be specific, because if it's general, then it's just a variation of it. For example, with my example with the bugs, specifically the bugs from Starship Troopers got ruined for me, because I would have said, oh, if it's a insectoid xenomorphic species with a hive mind, there's dime a dozen of those, and they're not all at the same thing. So
Yeah.
one being bad does not ruin the other. And like the example you said, Arthur, in Warhammer, the orcs are adorable. They are essentially barbaric hooligans that strive only for war. But specifically, the orcs of Warhammer 40k are technically being ruined because GW is leaning way too much into the cartoony aspect of them in recent time, rather
Um,
than taking it a smidgen more serious. Because yes, the orcs can be hilarious, but they're
Yeah.
still terrifying aliens that make for very phenomenal horror
Yeah.
if used correctly. So them just being pushed into this super goofy, cartoony, comic relief type
Yeah.
of thing, it detracts from the actual orc experience, which is what ruins the orcs.
Oh, come on, Warhammer. Don't be family
Well,
friendly so much.
I wanna say I understand where you're both coming from, and I totally get the very optimistic point of view of like, you cannot ruin something unless it's specific. But if I'm a pessimist, for example, I could say that literally every monster got ruined because nowadays it's been reshaped and remolded into
Mm.
something that it wasn't meant to
Well,
be. And
And
and it's not wrong of me, it's just that I see it in a different light, right?
right.
It's
Yeah, yeah. And
That's simply the trope
like,
being let out of control. So it is something that you, however, as a person, an individual, you have the personal choice of either embracing or rejecting. And that's where the boundary of is something ruined for you, where if it was something specific that was taken away from you, that you can say. But a general term, I think, is more easy to recover from, because if it's a general umbrella thing, you can just pick out the bits you like, completely shut off the bits you don't like, and you can still enjoy the thing.
Right.
Like, for example, with
I think-
vampires, in Warhammer, if I may also just briefly share, we have the magnificent bastard, Vlad von Karstein, your classic vampire, and he has a range. The more mortal he looks when he interacts with mortals, as he can also be slowly deteriorated to be more monstrous and the king of the night
Ooh.
that we deserve. This
Well,
is a
that's like-
cool
But
ass
that's the
vampire,
thing. That's
even
the
though he
thing.
also has
Even-
that charm ability. He's a sexy man, technically speaking.
Yeah,
in
that's
verse.
the
Right,
thing.
that's-
Even von Karstein isn't technically. That's what I said. Even von Karstein isn't technically a classic vampire. It's like a neo-classic vampire, because he's based on the vampire portrait that was like Dracula. He is pretty much a Dracula, and Dracula is already a divergence from the original vampires, which are pretty much just demons sucking or eating humans or sucking blood. And I think like the real issue when we talk about something that can be ruined or a monster that can be ruined is it boils down to the idea that if we really want to avoid ruining something, how about we just stop rebooting stuff and make something original?
That's
Like
a good
it can be
argument,
based
sure.
Yeah.
it can be based on something classic, but how about we actually make like Tolkien created orcs from scratch. How
Mm.
about we think the same way and create something like it can be based
Well,
like
it's not
Tolkien based
exactly from
orcs
scratch.
on
Tolkien
creatures.
created orcs
Yeah, but
on the
yeah, he based
goblinoid
them
and the dwarf. Essentially,
exactly.
goblins and dwarves,
He
from the
based them.
mythos.
He based them on actual creatures from
Yep.
mythology, but he named them different and he created them differently. And I think that's also an important thing. But
But
make them sexier and sexier each
Sure.
time. We could take something.
Yeah.
I think I was cut off.
I think there's a little bit fogginess in what is specific and what not, because when you first started talking, Lada, about it, I did see it as a specific take because you were looking at a specific orc from that. So even you can say dragons in general, but no, there's still or vampires. Let's bring him back. Don't do that, Lada. Don't do that.
I died.
So you died and came back. So like vampires, because what you were kind of
I'm
talking
just-
about a specific there, because you're talking about the original that's afraid of the cross and everything. So it became very generally known. So there's a little overlap there. So I and what Chris was saying, specifics are important because there's more lore attached, and when there's lore attached, you're more attached. So that's why those bugs in those movies were very prevalent for. Stop it, Lada, for Chris there.
I'm sorry.
So
Hey,
So
third
I
time's
just
the
wanted to
charm.
clarify that we're not that different in opinions. But one thing that you did say at the end, that why don't we just make original things? Because you know what? It's so much easier to cash in on old ideas. Because imagine if you make a new game, right? And you make something like orcs, but change them up, make them original, but call them differs. I don't know. Call them some new word. That's already alien to people. You can't already put commercials and show, oh, there's orcs in this. You're going to have to use this new word. And if you want it to work, you're going to have to spend a lot of money, like Avatar. Avatar has their specific alien race. It became big, but that's a huge billion-dollar franchise. And if you can't, then you just use the word orcs, and at least people know what that is. So, that's, and I know you're aware of it, but that's a really prevalent part to why we do keep reusing and revamping things, because of marketing. So that helps so much in what could be a failure otherwise. Now, Chris, just real quick, because I want to look at some shares. When you were talking about Starship Troopers 3, there was our fan of the channel, Doctor here, Mr. Doctor is not the real Mr. H. Their third movie was the least of the series, but it wasn't as bad as being described. So he thought it wasn't so bad. So
I'm happy you enjoyed it. It's
Lotta,
the best
if
I
you-
can say on that.
Help me. Help
if you
me.
do that
Help
one more
me, Arthur
time,
Ken-
Lotta, I am dehydrating
Help-
you.
Help me,
pouring-
Arthur Kenobi. You are my only hope.
You gotta still help yourself. That's how we work here. We're all lost causes. All right, let's go to Discord real quick then, and let's share what Gamza, Dark Gamza, Glow in the Dark Gamza said. I feel like I said this before, but I feel like a monster that got ruined from overexposure was the Borg from Star Trek. They started out very dangerous and could adapt to anything, but after Gene died, they started overusing the Borg in the series, and doing so, they gained so many weaknesses that can't be considered a major threat. That they can't be considered a major threat. That's a common trope of overusedness of monsters. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah.
Borg
Again, it's now an example of something, again, specific, because the Borg are a unique thing, and them being overused and, as described, yep, that's precisely
Okay.
it. Nails it right on the head.
So there we have that. Back to, I know there's the dragon and there's Chris. Let's go back to, I know Dark, Glow in the Dark had another share here. If I had to pick another monster that's overused, I'd pick zombies. They are in everything. They are an alt mode in most non-horror games. Also, I can only tolerate them for Resident Evil, and Zombies Ate My Neighbors and its sequel. I am too burnt out on them and anything else. I don't want to see them anymore. I mean, that's even a meme in, if you guys watch the Angry Joe show, where he reviews games. They got a thing, hey, Joe, you want to play a zombie game? And he's like, not another zombie game. I have heard this before. I know this is a pretty common opinion. I personally, before you guys get in, I love zombies, and I do think it's been oversaturated for sure. Like the Walking Dead series, I loved it. Now it's just too much boring stuff going on. But then there's another Walking Dead series, and that's not that good. And why we don't need it. And so yeah, it's oversaturated. They are everywhere, but still, if they're done well, I love them. Kind of like dragons to me. If they're still enjoyable and done well, I still enjoy them and just ignore all the other stuff. But they're definitely oversaturated the monster market. Thoughts? Wait, Lotta's being a pain again. Lotta's really pushing his Patreon right here.
My internet is having a stroke.
Have you complained to the ISP about it?
ISP,
Internet
what's that?
service provider.
Oh, I actually hadn't, but I don't.
You
really
should.
feel like. No, I'm really antisocial. You know, I'm shy. I'm a shy anime girl. I cannot do that.
All right, so
You're never going to become a citizen with that attitude. Got to be more angry and upfront.
So yes, zombies I think are a good entry in here. I just think they're not too. They don't have anything too specific that makes them so monstrous. So it's easy to kind of gray them out in the norm because they're just so normal looking. Aside from like vampires and orcs that have or dragons that have a very specific clear look, zombies, I mean, they're humanoid. You can kind of ignore it. Of course, they're going to oversaturate, but good one there. Next, we have Dandy, our lead, kind of artist, the lead in our Discord that does the art events. I would have to agree that vampires have been slightly ruined for me. However, I feel that they need a new, fresh take. Okay, that's fair. Or just a break. A little bit of both. I think a break and then a nice comeback. How about that? Zombies depend on how they are being portrayed, though, but they are very easy to pull off over other ideas. So that could be it. You know, zombies. I always loved Night of the Living Dead, the 1970s version. Absolutely love that movie. Nice, slow, undead, cursed, magically undead zombies. Then they started with the infected craze. The first big one that really hit in that I can recall is 28 Days Later. I loved it in the theaters. So that was a reiteration of zombie, but I think done right. The infecteds, I mean, that did it awesome. So we've seen it reiterated. It's a thing that you can still pull off and be creative with. You got the mushroomy ones from the video games. So for sure. All right. Now,
Because the game was so forgettable, we don't remember the title.
Was it though? Since they started this series, for me, because I haven't played it. Last of Us, right?
No, yes, The Last of Us.
Okay.
But I must say, I think I finally found
need to
a
see the
single undead type that cannot be ruined.
By the way, Last of Us, I heard awesome things that they actually copied the game very well, which people are just afraid to do, producers. So huzzah on that. I do want to watch Last of Us. Let me know, guys, if
I'll
you've seen it
definitely
and
do
how it
that.
is.
Definitely do that.
Mhm.
So Lada, by the way,
I
Chris,
found-
did you notice that Lada changed his image? He was a little
Yes,
girl
I
before.
did. I just didn't want to bring attention to it because he might be insecure about it.
Well, right. That's why I am bringing the attention to it. Lada, look at you. You have matured.
What are you
You
guys talking
became
about?
a gentleman of sorts. A very dark looking gentleman. What is this new you?
This new me is a Polish national prophet, but new me,
Nice.
I don't know what you're talking about. I always had him as my prophet.
Oh, yes, of course. So what monster were you going to bring up, Lada?
Actually, I was gonna bring up the one undead that cannot be ruined like ever and can only be improved on, and it's been proven countless times that the skeletons, reanimated skeletons, can never be really ruined, and they can only be improved on, and they can be made into really beautiful things in all kinds of movies. And I think it's also thanks to the fact that ever since the vampires and zombies took over as the primary undead creatures, skeletons have been put on a break. And whenever I see any sort of movie or a book that capitalizes on the use of skeletons as an undead army, I think they are doing it the right way, and it's just something fresh and new and good, and it never gets boring because the skeletons can be made into mummy warriors, into liches, into skeleton dragons even. There's just so many uses for skeletons that can be both reanimated and just used as like a scare. And I think, yes, this undead skeletons are the only true undead that cannot be ruined ever.
I like that you present it as such.
Hmm.
I can't disagree or agree, but I have to agree that skeletons do rock. And they haven't been used much because the last real awesome skeleton presentation was of Harryhausen with the stop motion skeleton battle. It's historic, it's classic TV right there. If you guys know what I'm talking about, my Harryhausen fans of stop motion, those good old movies like the Sinbads and stuff. I think that was Jason and the Argonauts or one of those movies. But that was an amazing scene, and it took so many days to do that, to animate every skeleton. It was so cool, and I definitely like to see animated skeletons. And it's so close to a zombie crisscross. I would say almost just any monster undead in TV would be great to see. I honestly enjoyed that in Game of Thrones when there was a bunch of undead creatures, because you had an undead giant, you had an undead dragon. I have never seen that in any other movie, I think, and I thought that was an awesome presentation. Lore, the writing, whatever aside, but as far as monstrous eye candy, I thought that was pretty awesome in that series. Skeletons,
and I was
huzzah.
also thinking
Love 'em.
I was also thinking about the Skeletor from He-Man, which is an absolute classic. and
Sure, although
was
he's
the
still got
perfect
the
skeleton.
steroid body.
Well, yes, but
Okay,
he drank a lot of milk, let's say.
so okay, let me go through mine, since we want to have a timely cast here somewhat.
Yes.
Okay,
we
so
are
my
nearly
first were-
hitting the 2-hour mark.
Overexposed, kind of. Now the next kind of coverage of how they got ruined for me is through bad movies, which is going to be majority of stuff. I just got a couple or so from that. Okay, a few. So the first one I'd like to mention is what got ruined for me pretty early on, to the point where I'm just not interested in movies featuring this, is ghosts. Movies featuring, and it's kind of a funny image, but it portrays what I'm talking about. Ghost movies, ghosts in general. It's just like people talking about ghosts, and what most ghost horror movies do is jump scares. Largely, I mean, ghost movies are probably higher on jump scares than all horror, especially B horrors, are high on jump scares. But that's like the big thing with ghosts. They're not being creative enough with making the ghost appear as a scary thing, and there are ways to do it. And I think the old movie, what was it, Haunted House on Haunted Hill, or The Haunting, the black and white one, that had a really creepy thing to it. I wish it played more into it, where they were in their bedroom in the big mansion. It's a black and white movie. They don't show any ghosts. They don't need to. What there is like a pounding, a crazy loud pounding. And if you imagine that, just being in a house in the middle of nowhere, and there's nothing around, and there's nobody at the door, but you just hear like really loud or like loud breathing. That's scary and creepy as hell. Back in the day when we used to have Unsolved Mysteries in the 90s, this a show about ghosts and UFOs, that's how they showed stuff. It made that topic creepy. Now all these movies you watch, it's kind of the similar thing with ghosts. So I feel like ghosts have gotten ruined for me, where I don't even bat an eye when there's a ghost movie coming out. I'm just not interested unless I hear something good about it, right? Do you guys really who jumps at ghost movies? I mean, teens, horny teens, but who else?
Jump scares are awful.
Oh.
Piece of media. They are not good horror.
Oh, you've cracking me up.
See ya, JMPF.
Yeah, JMPF.
Okay, so yeah, Ray Harryhausen, huzzah to that, the king.
Huzzah.
Okay, so another one for me. I think that was a pretty decently strong one for me, or decently relevant to the topic. So I was having a hard time being relevant with the topic. T-800, Terminator. The T-800 model, because we're talking about monsters, not the movie, but the movies started ruining that for me, where if I see the T-800 back in the 90s, early 2000, I'd see a T-800 somewhere, pictures, I'd be like, oh, what's going on here? Now, because of so many movies crapped it out, I don't get as excited anymore with the T-800, the original Terminator, the main model there that Arnold Schwarzenegger played. And this is part of the reason too. This is the last movie where good old Arnold played again. And what's her name? The original lady from the first and second Terminator, she was in it. So that was exciting. That was hype because it was actually a first continuation. I wanted to take out Terminator 3 out the window. That didn't happen. 1 and 2 happened to me. And then this was going to be the third one for me. But this is Carl, guys. This is the Terminator that killed John Connor. He came, and then because he killed... Okay, spoilers. He killed John Connor. I know, Chris, you haven't seen this, so I'm sorry if I'm spoiling things. I think you haven't seen this.
Oh my god.
So he came back, the Terminator, as Arnie, because the original killed himself, right, at the end of Terminator 2. Beautiful scene there. So he came back, he killed him, and then because his mission's done, he just grew old. He has the technology developed enough to grow old and to blend in with humanity. He doesn't self-destruct. So he became Carl. And this whole thing is that his job is he installs drapery. That's what our awesome T-800 from the first horror movie to the amazing sci-fi horror turned into, as Carl that installs draperies in your home. To be honest, this was one of my favorite parts in the movie because it was actually funny. But as a downfall of the T-800, it speaks for itself. But it was actually...
So what I'm hearing is the Arnold from the Predator movie very much so viably would beat him.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sorry for being a bit
there's
cheeky with
Carl.
that.
And yeah, to clarify to you, Chris, why he's Carl and why I was bringing up Carl and you were bringing up the uncle from Terminator 2. Uncle Bob? Yeah, Uncle Bob, right? Whatever. Moving on.
Let's say yes.
The next one that kind of got ruined for me, we'll talk about these ones. And this is more the overexposure. Not really bad. Yeah, and falling down movies, failing movies, and overexposure. There we go. You got to love it. The Xenomorph. I think we're all in the same boat here. We love them. amazing monster creation, but some movies just haven't been given them the credit they deserve. And because of that, they're starting to get ruined slowly. The more exposed they are, and because the more exposed something is, and in a bad way, that's failures of the movies. But all in all, they're affecting this specific monster that you loved. The other one, of course, there you go. I do love this picture. I need to hear a huzzah on the picture.
That's a phenomenal picture. I love it.
There we go.
A beautiful picture.
Why did that's the same. I can't put the check mark on the picture because it's also a picture. Forgot. So there we go. Predator's the same. Awesome movies, but as more crappier movies start to be released, you start to not be that into Predator maybe anymore. It happens. So these are just a little bit. I'm going to say they almost got ruined. They didn't get ruined. They're on the way to, but certainly not. Next. Pennywise. It. Look at those teeth.
He looks like he's chopping wood with those.
Yes, nothing with buck teeth is initially that scary. Buck teeth mean a herbivorous animal, not scary. So yes, they ruined it a little bit for me because if I saw it and thought of the original It, then I'd be like, oh, awesome! What are they going to make? And then this is what they advertised with. The movies, all in all, are better. The ads just showing that face, that ruined it for me a bit. Okay? So that's my topic of bad movies ruining things. You guys want to jump in with anything real quick before I move to the next one?
Nothing
Stay strong
in
for us,
particular.
Chris. Stay strong for us.
I am strong, yes.
Good, good. Gamsa shouted out, speaking of skeletons, what would make for a horrifying enemy for a horror monster is a bone mancer. It's not the same as a necromancer. They control all
Calcium.
bone and attacking. I do like that. It's no effect because they are not making undead. Anti-undead wouldn't work on them, some spell. I like that. And actually a lot of... actually, that's in Heroes of Might and Magic, right? Where they have the bone dragon. I like that too, because instead of calling it a skeleton or that, call it a bone dragon, a bone ogre. So now it's not necessarily undead, it's just the skeleton form of it. There's a different type of magic or curse behind it. I like the bone before something. That's a good one too. Okay.
I think I have a perfect joke about the Terminator.
Go ahead. It better be good.
Can you kill a Terminator? Can you kill a T-800 by throwing eggs at him?
No.
Yes, you can, because he'd be exterminated.
I hate you. All right, next. Continuing.
I love you too, Arthur.
Exterminated. All right, let's. Where was I here? Next one. So my next little grouping is comic book monsters that got ruined for me. Okay, this is one of my biggest ones. All right, ready, guys? And it actually got ruined because of movie. This is one of the biggest ones. This is Doomsday. Doomsday, who freaking killed Superman and ruined a bunch of other Marvel DC superheroes' lives. Freaking Doomsday. Amazing comic book series where he battles through a bunch of the DC heroes and Superman back and forth until it's just him and Superman. It was my favorite comic book back in the day. It was awesome. Then they made a movie with Superman versus Batman, and Doomsday was just, well, let's throw in a monster like it's just some
we don't talk about
creation.
that's a prime case of something you want to ignore. That's a specific thing.
Oh yes, because before I mentioned this, right, we totally forgot about that. This existed, so I'm sorry about that, but it exists somewhere out there in this silly world of monsters. But yes, Doomsday, I hated how they added him as like the third foe. And it wasn't even like, I mean, it could have been an awesome third foe where Batman and Superman actually team up against us. I don't know if that actually happened. It might have happened, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And You need Doomsday would be great for a trilogy of a movie. I mean, if Thanos got what Thanos got in Marvel, Doomsday deserves that or more in DC. Doomsday was awesome. Very simple creation, just powerful Hulk kind of thing. But I thought Doomsday was absolutely awesome and how the comic books covered that. It was actually very emotional, and how that battle ended, and how it said that in the spread in the comic book. And this is the day that Superman dies, and you see the Superman laying back, dark blood all over him, his cape in the wind like a flag, and his parents that adopted, right, took care of Superman, watching on the news in tears of his death. And they both died together, and the last hit of them both, Superman and Doomsday. That was awesome, guys. And them doing that to him in a movie, screw them. That was a big loss for them. Okay, next one. I always was a big fan when I was collecting Marvel cards, as we mentioned when I was talking about collecting. So I was Galactus. I love how Galactus, not love, but I grew up seeing how Galactus is portrayed as this huge, he's the world eater, right? And the only time I remember seeing in a movie was the Fantastic Four movie, and he's just this, amalgamous, this without a body, without a real form kind of thing, which makes more sense because you don't want this giant in space. But I do like this. I wish they just figured out a creative way to incorporate this into a movie as eye candy. But it was just like the galaxy speaking in Fantastic Four. I was not happy how they portrayed Galactus. I know they changed things to make things look cooler, so they don't give him the same colors of uniforms. Okay, but this was way off. This was not Galactus. No
Very
video.
much so. Yes, in defense of that particular case, did we really even see Galactus?
No, we didn't. We
Yeah,
didn't.
I just saw a fart cloud from space.
Right. And I think that was in Doctor Strange. Was he in Doctor Strange also as Galactus?
And that was Dormammu. He's a
Okay.
different villain.
A different fart cloud
Yes,
in Hollywood.
but with a
So-
face this time.
So I'm curious if Galactus got another featuring at all in the movies. I feel like he's going to come up
Nope.
again in Marvel in the future, maybe. I don't know. But let's be more creative, guys. Let's take what we have from the comic books. Let's put it on the big screen. Don't be afraid to. It's not going to be silly. You guys do a lot more stupid crap in Hollywood that's more silly than that. At least taking something from the original and presenting it again. At least you're following, the original concept there. And with that, my last one for comic book speaking is Venom. I'm a huge fan of Venom, as you guys know. I mentioned that earlier in collecting. The last movie, I was really looking forward to Venom's representation there. Wasn't that great. So Venom, I'd have to say, slowly, not ruined for me, but it's slowly getting there if they keep messing it up. I mean, it wasn't even Spider-Man related, all that. I still like how they portrayed, to be honest. I do like what they did with the CGI with Venom and his design. His voice was fine. The writing aside, everything else aside, just aesthetics, even though he didn't have the spider, still looked great in the movie. No problem. It's the other stuff that follows, because they had a great actor. They just had shit writers. So, and directing. So, next one. Now, these are my last two that I have to shout out from my end. And then I'll go back to Discord, see if you guys have anything else, and then we'll wrap it up. So, the last one, the second to last, is from Dragon Ball Z. And I don't know if they're that. I think Chris clarified this to me. What the hell is Lotta doing? He really wants attention. You really want attention, huh?
No, I was actually, on the contrary, I was about to say that this really, I think, isn't gonna work
gonna
out,
give up?
and I think you have to pay for the dinner, Arthur.
You can keep trying. You can keep trying. Let me since I'm off topic here real quick, let me see what you guys are saying. Is he a monster though? Who are you referring to? Oh, Galactus.
Was Galactus a monster?
Of course. I mean, if Thanos is a monster, Galactus is a world eater. It's
Why would you call Thanos a monster? He was
why
right.
wouldn't you call him a monster? I'm confused here. This is Galactus. Is for some reason this not a monster from the years of
Yeah.
what you see me talking
He's from before the universe started up. He's from the previous universe.
Hmm. Um, or oh, that was Lada. Okay, I thought it was Lada's fairly new to the channel. I can't jump on him like that. Doctor Strange movie, yes. So yes, and let me read this one real quick. We have, I would have said Aliens, Predators 2, exactly those three for the same reasons. Yeah, I think we're on the same page, Siderek. They didn't totally get ruined, right? But they're heading there. If they keep screwing with this, it's just going to get oversaturated. Oversaturation just doles things out, and when they're doled out, they're kind of ruined. So the next one is from Dragon Ball Z. I think Chris clarified to me that it is powerful, but not that, because I thought that these guys are kind of cool when I was watching Dragon Ball Z, the Kai, and I guess right, they're kind of the gods. And this is Shin Kai.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought he's kind of cool. He's got this mohawk going, these earrings that give him power and all that. But then I realized they're actually, in the great scheme of things, I mean, compared to humanity and stuff, of course they're powerful. But compared to like all these,
Compared to the people we're with every day or every episode, to be more precise.
Mm-hmm. Can you repeat that?
But compared to humanity, yes, they're powerful. But compared to the people that we are with every episode, the main characters.
Yeah, they don't stand out that much in power. And I kind of always saw them as these are some of the top beings out there, but not really. And having the position they have, I kind of would hope that. So realizing they're not that strong, that kind of ruined it. I think that would have been a cool opportunity to make them stronger, but maybe have them follow rules that they can't get involved with things. All right, the last one. Not really ruined. I still love my Tyranids, but you know what's starting to ruin them more and more? The paints, the color scheme. Come on, guys. Come on. They just released some new Tyranids in the world of Warhammer, and they keep doing this white color scheme, which is okay.
I was under
so many better ones they can go with. And the worst part is they're still showcasing them on a black background. But then they take Space Marines and showcase them on a nice dark background that looks all rustic. Okay, if you're gonna paint Tyranids all white, stick them on a dark background.
There's a lore reason for that.
Of course, I know.
I was under the impression that you can paint your minis whatever you want and don't have to stick to the prescribed color palette.
Yes, there is. And nice, Lotta. Actually, it looks like you're gonna stick in this time because as you're talking, your thing is going off, so that's good.
What do you mean going out?
Yes.
Specifically about the white, it's because this is a representation of Hive Fleet Leviathan, and that is simply the color scheme of Leviathan.
Sure.
Where you have the other different Hive Fleets that have their own color schemes.
Yeah.
And so Leviathan is the current big bad, invading with a brand new angle into the galaxy, and they're referred to as Leviathan because it's the most numerous in terms of, it's the biggest in terms of numbers Hive Fleets that are currently entering the galaxy.
Gotcha.
So it's the same with different legions of Imperial Guard, or I think
in Space Marine chapters.
Call them, wait, I think you cannot call them Imperial Guards anymore, can you?
It is Imperial Guard, yes.
But wasn't it like banned because there was this whole copyright issue with Star Wars?
No. Or even if it was, I don't care about GW's copyright policy. You're in the Guard, son.
I think it was like changed to like Astra Militaris or something.
Yeah, it's
Imperial Guards are better.
It's Astra Militarum, but nah, you're in the Guard.
Let me know, guys, if you guys have details on this copyright thing. Let's see. Sidorak, you were on the same page with a lot of this stuff. It's cool that you're aware of this, the DBZ stuff too. Yes, the Supreme Kai, yeah. I mean, he's called the Supreme Kai, so I always thought power.
In the end, power scaling wise, in the universe itself, not counting the main characters, he's like 2 to 3 rungs underneath the actual quote-unquote gods of that universe, who themselves are also lower on the rung.
Yeah.
Because gotta keep expanding that fighting pool.
Yeah, that's anime for you too. So, and I get that this lore, this is the specific look, but they should have chosen a different one. Because, yeah, it goes with the lore, and you can paint them in any scheme you want. Totally, I get it. That is a thing with Tyranids, actually, that you can't necessarily do with other armies unless you want to do fan fiction sometimes. But but they
What
didn't
do
have to
you
choose
what do you
this one.
paint your minis?
This wasn't.
What do you paint your minis?
What do you want, Lotta?
What do you paint your minis? What color palette do you
I
choose?
have some old Tyranids. I would point. So the when I first got into Warhammer in the 90s, the scheme they had for Tyranids at that time was a red and
The
maybe
black
blue,
and red of Behemoth, yes.
and that one was okay. It aged. It aged. Then when I got in, and the way I painted mine was the parts here that are red, like his bone
Bone sword.
bone sword and the claws are kind of red. So they were red like that, but the chitin, the rest of the body was kind of yellowish bony, not white like this.
Oh,
And that was probably their best scheme. I don't think it was awesome. I think we could think of better ones, but I think that was the best one that GW did, was that kind of middle era of the boniness and the red edge. The white, I do like the white. I like all of them,
Well-
but it took some character away. Particularly, look at the Gene Stealers. They're the ones on the lower right. If you guys don't know,
yes.
they
yes.
at that time and
Ah.
for a long time they had deep violet bodies and purple heads, and you knew a Gene Stealer. It looked different from everything else. They made them completely white. Like, at least they could have gave them variation between the head and
Those
the
are still the ones you described. Are
guess
still
my-
the regular Gene Stealers. These are just ones incorporated into the High Fleet Leviathan specifically.
They literally whitewashed Gene Stealer.
Exactly. There you go. Wow, Warhammer, you are canceled. You are being canceled. There you go. There you
Now,
go.
Arthur, may I try to reignite your to kind of help offset the ruination?
Okay.
Because these are some pictures of a person selling these specific miniatures on that Warhammer trading group I got my minis from.
Okay.
It's an original character, color scheme, I suppose. They
Yes,
look
that's fine.
quite fabulous.
So let me reiterate. Tyranids didn't get ruined for me, but their presentation and me being hyped for what's coming out new from GW, because they keep using that color scheme, that's like, hey, cool, new models. Why this way? But I know I can repaint them. So they didn't get ruined. It's just their marketing of them got ruined, if that makes sense.
Well, since we're at it, and we can, kind of continue with it for a little while longer, may I ask you guys, what do you think is gonna be next for the Tyranids? Like, what color scheme is gonna be next for
I
the
don't know. I
Tyranids?
thought they'd be doing something new this time around, but they did them all white again. I was going to show the new ones today, but I didn't get a nice big image of them. So I don't know. Chris, you showed those pictures. Idig Beer, that does videos a lot on Necron, he's got Tyranids, and the way he does them is yellow and dark blue. Cool. Creative.
And that's a personal color scheme that he's created. But in
Mhm.
terms of the Tyranids, what I'm thinking, let me just, what I'm thinking is that after this particular, after High Fleet Leviathan gets blunted, so to say,
Mhm.
I think that there's two possible angles they can go into. I don't send you links to these images, Arthur, because I don't want to cough up the entire screen, and it's not the Restream is not letting me upload from
Okay.
from links. See, that very first one is going to be the two directions I see they can take them is either going with making High Fleet Hydra. That's the first image. It's a High Fleet that has been. Let me double check. Was it Hydra or Tiamat that was doing the thing? Because there is one High Fleet that is going around hunting and eating other High Fleets, essentially to retain all of the unique evolutions they've made and then keep them in the greater whole. While the bottom one, the red one that you're currently showing, I think Lada is dying again.
Yeah, he's doing his thing.
There's weird. Yeah, the red ones are High Fleet Kronos. They are a High Fleet specifically evolved to fight and devour demons and combat chaos. So considering the galaxy is, in current lore, split in two by a giant warp rift, maybe Kronos may become more prominent if chaos starts getting a resurgence, as essentially they are the Tyranids' main response to the threat of chaos.
I like that. So this is an official lore, or it is. This is
Yep, this
fan.
is official lore.
Oh, it is. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
High Fleet
wanted to
Chrono
ask.
seeds the chaos essentially. But I'm trying to find out, was it and yes, High Fleet Hydra, the one I sent you. They are the ones that also hunt other gene steal. They hunt other Tyranid high fleets and devour them to essentially redo the main bulk of the Tyranids and unify them essentially.
Who would have thought that to kill a bag, you need another bag?
By the way, Chris, yeah, are you able to upload into the overlay images there?
I'm able to upload. It's just that I'm not able to upload the links.
No,
I
no,
need
just
to upload the files directly from my computer, but I can't upload links.
yeah, that's what I'm doing. I just drag them to a folder and then I upload it. So same way. Um, okay, that's cool. I'm curious now if Idigbeer has some lore behind it, or he just like the color scheme, or if he did the yellow and blue for a reason. To answer your question, Lada, because I do think about it, because I do want to get some Tyranid models, whether I play with them or not. What color scheme I would do? Again, white I like because it kind of fits with what I do. I love the theme of black and white, hence my love for this guy here. I love the aesthetics of black and white, yin yang, all that. I do want to go with that. I think with Tyranids, but it's tricky. And Tyranids are a beautiful faction you can play with because I mean they're bugs, so you can grow inspiration from praying mantises to shiny beetles with multicolors on them, and people do that, and you find beautiful art out there. I would want to work it out with black and white, but to make it work, you need to be good and add more details. So I can't just do black hard spots and the softer spots white. That might look a little cool, but then you have to add in the little spots where gradients, a gradient sort of, the spots that you'd see in animal patterns and stuff like that. So work that into the wings and stuff like that, and little stripes and things like that into my Tyranid. So that's kind of the scheme I'm thinking is. So like with these ones, the black
If
would
you
probably be more in the areas like you see here with these guys where they have the darker area.
I must say though, if I were to paint Tyranids any color, because they remind me specifically of what I just sent to Monstercast chat, I would definitely choose yellow with some black spots.
Yellow and black.
Wouldn't you
spots is
agree?
cool.
This is a Tyranid. This is like an average Tyranid.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I see you're taking this topic very seriously and you're wasting my time. But no, actually, that's a good idea. Black and yellow. And yeah, the previous Tyranids with the bony color were cool. Point is, I still love them. I wish they were more creative in their new model releases compared to like what the other factions get. I don't feel they push Tyranids as far as they do other things. Like Necrons.
It's only just now that they're starting to do stuff for them, because 10th edition is coming out and the Tyranids are the main bad guy of that. The Necrons were in the previous one, so now it's the Tyranids, and that's why they're getting new models and stuff.
Was the previous one like Necrons and versus nuns with guns, or was it something else?
Yeah, that was it. And again, it was Ultramarines.
This is lovely.
Oh,
right
it was
here.
Ultramarines again.
This is lovely, and it's more
beautiful.
reminiscent of the bugs from Starship Troopers too. That's a lovely color scheme.
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice that.
So that's the point, people, is you have to go the extra mile if you want to work certain things out. Because if you do what they did with the leader here, and you say I'm going to do it black and yellow, it'll just look simple. It'll look cool. But if you want some simple ways like black and white, I say that's a tricky one, and I say you have to be either good or go the extra mile to make it look good. Because like you see in this one, they didn't just do it black and white. They added striping and things like that, and specific areas where it's going to be darker for aesthetically pleasing effects. And even from this, you can go further in quality. So yeah. So I'm thinking I do that. So in the end,
yes, and
they didn't get ruined. It's just stop showing them like this. And you know what, the Gene Stealers, that's the biggest disgrace they did. Come on. Seriously, the Gene Stealers, you guys maybe weren't that impacted as I did, because I grew up playing a game, also a video game called Space Hulk, which was awesome. And the only foe you had were Gene Stealers running at you. So Gene Stealers were quite a known foe back in Warhammer days. And then they kind of lost that, and now losing their look, The new Zoomers, they don't know what a gene stealer should look like.
Well, it's funny you mentioned
Okay.
Warhammer game, because speaking of things that got ruined and of Tyranids, I think the biggest disgrace was that the Tyranids were not a viable faction in the first Dawn of War game.
You're really pushing
Yeah.
my buttons today, aren't you?
It was a disgrace because I mean
Oh, okay.
seriously, we lacked Tyranids, and it was a disgrace because
Ah.
Tyranids were
I was saying
Yeah.
you're
So
pulling my
I think there
buttons
were like
today.
there were 9 factions in the after all the DLCs, and unfortunately we never got Tyranids, and it would have been the perfect
Right.
faction to put in Dawn of
And
War.
that is a disgrace because, like I mentioned, they were one among the earliest of foes that Warhammer did come up with. So,
Well,
yep.
to kind of again soothe you, I'm sharing a couple of images that
Mm.
were created by one of the phenomenal voice actors for my story, Doom Faith Humanity.
Okay.
Underbelly, he's known as, and he made this Gene Stealer Patriarch, the classic colors.
Nice.
I'm sharing on stream right now, and
Good.
for those who haven't watched episode 5, bit of a spoiler of the ending.
Mm.
I'm not giving any context. Go watch the episode, you'll find out.
Awesome. Good advertisement. All right. I need to regain my voice here because I got a night to go through tonight. The last thing here, we have Glow in the Dark Gamza mentioning I have to pick Venom as well. So, Chris, can you summarize that, or
Summarize
I'm
what?
burnt out a little? Just that text there, or read through it if you can.
Certainly. Just give me a
Cool.
moment. When it comes to comic monsters, I might have picked Venom. Take in mind, he is tied to first place for my favorite comic book character, not from sci-fi stories. They messed up his origin over time. He was an overachiever that just got unlucky, but he was real. And he became an anti-hero, but around the time of the Toby Spider movies, he was changed for both the movies and later comics. In the movies, he's straight up a villain and a liar. He also asks God to kill a person, which is just wrong on so many levels, despite the original comic scene being him asking God to take him, Brock, because of the cancer he had. Spider-Man getting him fired, lying that he lied about the Sin Eater's killer, his wife leaving him because of Spider-Man. In the comics, they changed him so he wasn't an overachiever and he was sick, stealing animals and giving them back to people to get their approval or finding their lost pets. Oh, and Carnage was meh in the movies. There was aspects of him that were great, but Woody was not the first pick, I think, to play Carnage. And then the white xenomorph king approves of the white nids.
Nice. Yep, that is a cool one. Thanks, Chris. So I agree, Carnage was ruined, but I'm not going to say because of Woody. I think Woody would have done a great job. Woody's just an actor, and he's a good actor. But Woody needs guidance. You don't just go and act. You need to know what to act. You need to know your script. The director needs to know how to place you, where you're coming from. That's their job. They're the ones that screwed up the Venom movies. The actors were fine. Tom Hardy is a Class A actor, so is Woody. But, that's subjective on Woody. That's fair. But I have to agree because I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to and I forgot. The movie ruined Venom a little bit for me, but also the comics, just the continuation of the story. But that's comic books. They can't die. They go on forever. And when they go on forever, they keep getting more and more powerful, like Spawn, and they become almost godly. And that's what happened to Venom. The crappy thing is the last comic I bought with Venom, because I was wanting to get back to collecting Venom comics. That's another collection I have a little bit. I realized how crappy they are. I mean, the comics are like for 10-year-olds, or as the meme goes, 9-year-olds, right? They're not good. And some Venom comics are really good and they're dark, kind of on par with the Spawn. But these new ones, like he goes underground and there's dinosaurs and it's prehistoric. It gets too silly. That really ruins things for sure. For sure. McFarlane would not approve.
100% agree.
McFarlane
100% agree, yes.
would not approve. Thank you. Thank you, Lotta. You have ended this episode with grace.
Yes.
2 things you have said that have earned you a check mark. So congratulations on that.
I am now checkmarked. I am a verified user of the Monstercast.
Precisely. And for those watching, you too can become a verified user by first joining the Discord, and from there, joining us here on the live stream.
And remember to also pay a lot of money on Patreon, because that gives you beautiful privileges.
Yes, a lot of money. Like Lotta is our top patron that we've had in a long time. So
I went from 0 to 100 pretty quickly.
yeah, Lotta doesn't speak what he or preach what he speaks. He preaches what he speaks. All right, or is it the other way around? But he's the real deal. Okay. Well, if you need to get rid of a pest, you get a gecko. To get a gecko, you get an owl. To get an owl, you get a tiger. For the tiger, yes, the food chain. All right. I remember the original Space Hulk, they say. All right. Thank you. Hey, thanks for participating there, Glow in the Dark Gamza. They're a fairly new member, and they've been attending these monster casts, and they've been awesome.
Which is phenomenal.
With that, let's shout out some other awesome, totally awesome people. Let's do that. And yes, no voting today, guys. I was going to say we can vote for the next episode or whatever, but I think we'll leave it for our patrons. Once I have those options up, I'll just leave it on Patreon. We'll get a vote on, and then you guys will see a nice new title for a next video coming up.
Just another reason to become a patron.
Correct. Yes, exactly. For voting rights and all that stuff, and just being more involved with the channel, and it'll keep us going for sure. But if things keep dropping, it's hard to justify for Chris and me. I don't want to have to drag Chris around if things are just dropping. I want to make sure we got a bright future ahead in our dark hole of hell that we live in and thrive in here. So, thank you all.
You just need
go ahead.
to fulfill the niche. You just need to fulfill this niche that you already started fulfilling by making ASMR content, eating bugs and stuff. That will definitely make this channel grow back.
Hopefully, you guys enjoyed my insect ASMR today. That was
it was definitely an experience.
Oh, that was sensational.
Before you guys say your goodbyes, I do want to thank Hino X Hinox. That's Lotta right here. That's who you hear. This beautiful voice with the strong R's. I love it.
Illustrious. I am illustrious.
Like I said, illustrious. Love it. Lotta, Hino, thank you. You're still number one on that list, and we all know why now. Tammy Osborne. She's been with us longer though. She's been with us a long time. Thank you, Tammy Osborne. Rita Miller, who rocks. I'm sure I'll hear from her soon. Rita, you rock. Thank you for the support. Rita Miller, Jill Lebrazur, thank you. Sidorak, who's been chatting with us today, as he is always. Thank you, Sidorak. You're the man. You rock. And Chris Monster Drool Jones, thanks for the support. Thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And we'll see you when I'll update. If you want to know exactly when we'll come back and do the next episode, join our Discord. That'll give you a good reason to join in, and I'll let you guys know. I'll keep releasing videos. Keep on supporting us. We'll keep entertaining and informing you guys.
With all that phenomenal business out of the way, once more, thank you for joining us this evening. I hope that we've been entertaining you, that you've managed to learn something new, or at the very least had a decent time listening to us ramble and share. Though maybe you can leave us some constructive criticisms in the comments to come to the future. And for those who have caught the live stream, I hope that you enjoy having the full thing available to you at all times. Whilst for everyone else, you gotta wait a little bit longer for the edited version that goes on the channel. In either case, we look forward to seeing what you share with us in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be seeing you post-June.
And I am just grateful to be here again, and it became the highlight of every half of my month, so I am very grateful once more. And I just hope that me being here makes people more happy and not less happy. And
you're a pleasure,
wow,
Lotta.
This is a journey that I am embarking on with you, and I love it.
If you guys enjoy Lotta out there, please leave us a like. Lotta's a nice guest to have.
Yes, and one day I might replace Chris if he doesn't show up. So please.
There we go. Okay. And yes, to clarify, guys, it might be about a month. Not certain, but I'm thinking about 2 episodes. In 2 episodes, we'd be back. So about a month. All right, guys. Thank you. Stay monstrous.